Go Bigger TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the Yamina Revolution, and the Florida mayor says leave or die. What the hell is going on here? Before we get into that, be sure to wipe your feet. You in the House of Revolution. Like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all. Very distressing and dangerous times we're living in. We know the government is manipulating this weather. We're not fooled by this. But before we get into Milton, we want to look at Revolutionary Salute, Family Salute, Queen. We want to look at the government busted destroying supplies in North Carolina. You see, they don't want this on the news, y'all.
This is D7 on Surviving End Times. And we have an interesting situation here where these unmarked helicopters came swooping down in Burnsville, North Carolina, destroying supplies. We got video footage here, thanks to Megs and Bacon. And this is just really odd. I'm going to run the footage here so you guys can see what they're talking about. This chopper flying in really low.
There's some CIA.
They waved off the helo and told it not to try to land. So then it did some kind of rotor maneuver where they're saying it came in really low and it destroyed a bunch of supplies. These people not happy at all. See it sitting there, right there in the sky. And this is where it then dips down to perform a rotor wash.
That's BlackRock. That's BlackRock. They're doing this
over the lot.
See?
And then sits there hovering over the area, destroying everything.
Our military is in the Middle East, while BlackRock and the small hats pick on Americans, destroy civilizations, and Bill Gates, he in on it now.
They were able to zoom in and see that the guys flying it had masks on. They brought in local PD. They said they had no idea, and they're trying to track down who these individuals are.
They're
saying that about 40 minutes prior to this, two unmarked black SUVs pulled in.
They can't say nothing. They don't want to come up missing. But it's to scare the populations, let the populations know. And this is what they're doing. You can't help your fellow Americans in time like this. You only can count on FEMA. That's ridiculous, but that's what they're saying. You cannot help one another. You depend on the government, or else you're going to jail, and then they'll destroy your supplies.
And then took off. So you could see stuff just flying everywhere, destroyed from the chopper blades, just blowing everything around all over the place. They did not seem to care. It's like they came in, wreaked havoc, and then took off. And they want to know who this is. So if you guys got any clues, let me know. Dabu7@yahoo.com. And they actually zoomed in and got footage of what these guys look like. Here as well. Here is an up close still shot of that. You can't really make them out, but you could tell they had coverings over their face. They were in an unmarked chopper.
Yeah.
And people would like to know who this was.
That's private military, man.
So hit that subscribe.
Private military, man, riding around these black helicopters destroying supplies. That's disgusting. But the American people took the video, not the news. Not the police. The police sitting on the ground talking about, we're going to investigate that. Man, please. We ain't counting on y'all for nothing no more. But, all right, let's take a look at we I didn't believe this myself when I seen it. These people get caught in their BS. Now, Milton, I'm going to show you. Check this. These people planning this stuff ahead of time, and they leak it because they love to know they got the power. They laugh. We laughing at y'all in movies. We told y'all in the movie we was gonna destroy y'all. We tell y'all in news articles we gonna kill y'all. Y'all take y'all kids to watch it in the movies and all kind of psychotic shit. But here it is, April 25th, 2024. It was archived. They tried to erase this too. Why are you trying to erase it? Why are you trying to remove it? If you didn't want us to know that you was talking about Hurricane Milton in April of 2025, or did you put this out here and it was just a inside joke between the people who was knowing? So since April 25th, they just been laughing, knowing in October what was going to happen.
You will not believe what is currently coming out about Hurricane Milton. There's an organization called the Convoy of Hope. They have a website. They have an article that talks about Hurricane Milton all the way back on April 24th, 2024. I am sorry, April 25th, 2024. Now, I didn't believe this myself. I went to the Convoy of Hope website. I went to the Hurricane Milton article, and it shows October 7th, 2024. But as somebody pointed out, if you go to the Wayback Machine, which shows archived articles, you will see that they did post an article where it shows Hurricane Milton, April 25th, 2024. What is even crazier is that there was another deleted article on another website that was created back on April 10th, 2024, that talks about a hypothetical hurricane. A hypothetical hurricane.
Come on, man. Come on, we're not glossing over this. This is what they do to laugh at us and mock us. They will release an article about this hurricane they're not supposed to know nothing about months before it happened and talk about how destructive it's going to be. Extremely powerful. Category 5. What the hell? Oh, y'all is the ones doing this, right? Yes.
Hurricane Milton. And again, this was back on April 10th, 2024. Now listen to this. And again, this was on April 10th, 2024. Hurricane Milton. Hurricane Milton was an extremely powerful Category 5 hurricane that caused widespread damage across its path in October 2024. Milton formed in mid-October and reached Category 5 strength on the Saffir-Simpson Hurricane Scale, SSHS. Milton caused catastrophic damage in Mexico and then Florida. This devastating hurricane would take the lives of several across the Caribbean and Florida. Hurricane Milton on this website formed on October 15, 2024, and dissipated on October 25, 2024, with winds of 175 miles per hour. Now, even though Hurricane Milton, the real Hurricane Milton, formed earlier, a few days earlier, still, what are the odds? What are the odds indeed that this website would have accurately guessed the name of the hurricane that is targeting Florida and the same month, just a few days apart? The website even mentions how Hurricane Milton started as a tropical depression, then out of nowhere rapidly intensified into a Category 4 hurricane, then became a Category 5. Now, here's also something rather interesting. It states that 31 people lost their lives to Hurricane Milton. So remember that number. It also caused $5.6 billion in damages. This goes hand in hand with my previous video titled Hurricane Milton Plans Exposed, because there was a hypothetical hurricane funded by FEMA called Hurricane Phoenix 2.0 that formed in October 15th to October 20th. So Hurricane Phoenix is Hurricane Milton. This is not a coincidence whatsoever. They are forming smart cities all across the United States, but there are a lot of smart cities forming in Florida. And one of those smart cities they are preparing is in the St. Pete area. And what is stopping St. Pete from building the smart city is Tampa Bay. When it comes to what's going on with the Convoy of Hope, this lady on TikTok does an amazing job explaining as to what's going on, and you will not believe it.
Fishy's going on, you guys. This young lady just showed an article written in April of this year, 2024, about Hurricane Milton. Okay. She screenshot herself showing you how to go to Google, what to type in, and where to scroll to. So I screenshotted myself doing the same thing. So I'm going to show you guys what happened, because they have since, she recorded her video 20 hours ago. And within the last 24 hours, they have removed the article that she's showing you guys. I'm going to show you exactly what happened. Just saw this girl on TikTok say she went here and saw that they already had Hurricane Milton planned. Has there ever been a Hurricane Milton? And it showed all of the information when her videos on TikTok. I'm going to show it to you guys too. So you scroll down here to the convoy one. There's a convoy one. And then okay, here it is. Convoy of Hope, Hurricane Milton 2024. Scroll down to the hypothetical link, Hurricane Michael, and here's the video. And then here it is right here, right? This is what she clicked on. But now it's telling me I can't find it because it's going viral. Sorry, this page was recently deleted within the last 24 hours. Why?
Too late.
The deletion, protection, and move log for the page are provided below for reference. Hurricane deleting due to
We're going to say this is a conspiracy theory, you know, and this is misinformation. That's why they try to take it down.
Information concern. What? Change protection settings for Hurricane Milton. You guys, I'm about to show you what I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh, you guys are not going to believe what I just found out about Hurricane Milton. This is actually going to blow your mind. Okay, so tell me how I just found an article written back in April.
Now she's about to show you guys the exact same link that I just showed you, but mine is now, they've since taken it down. Since she recorded this, they've taken it down.
Of this year.
This video was recorded 20 hours ago. It's at the bottom of the screen. It's kind of white.
And Hypothetical Hurricanes Wiki, giving information about this upcoming hurricane. So I follow a lady named Lair Leitner, and she has a Telegram group, and she posted this, and I literally had to go see for myself. It literally says that Hurricane Milton, remember, this is an article written back in April about a hurricane that hasn't even happened yet. It says, was an extremely powerful Cat 5 hurricane that caused widespread damages across the path in October 2024. Goes on to say that this devastating hurricane would take several lives across the Caribbean and Florida. Okay, don't believe me? I'm going to actually take you through my screen recording of how I found this information. Okay, just screenshots for anyone who's like, what is she talking about? I went to Google and I typed in, has there ever been a Hurricane Milton? You can do this as well. It's going to pull up several articles. You scroll down until you get to this article that was literally written in April. April, you guys. April. Look at this. April 25th, 2024. By Convoy of Hope, okay? And then it starts going into Hurricane Michael and how they replaced it with Hurricane Milton. And then if you scroll a little bit further down, it's going to pull up the link, the page that I literally just showed you. This is proof that they are messing with us. These storms are not coincidence. There it is, Hypothetical Hurricanes Wiki, linked on an article posted back in April about Hurricane Milton that hasn't even happened yet. If you think that they are not creating these storms, you better think again, okay? And this is me pulling that up. They literally planned this. Listen, we have to remember that anyone who partners with the demonic, it is literally a part of what they do, that they have to put it out in plain sight somewhere. This keeps happening time and time and time again, okay? And there has been proven to be machines that manipulate the weather. And this, to me, is all the evidence I need. I mean, I already knew it, but if you needed some extra evidence, go type it into Google, look it up yourself, and tell me how they know about Hurricane Milton back in April of this year, and it hasn't even happened yet.
Alexa, what kind of hurricane was Hurricane Milton?
From fandom.com. Hurricane Milton was an extremely powerful Category 5 hurricane that caused widespread damage across its path in October 2024.
How do they already have the information about a hurricane that hasn't even happened yet? And this one was done a day ago. Today is Monday, October 7th, 2024. It's 7:36 p.m. And they already have articles written about it.
See, they demonic crooks. They letting the investors know where the next big money gonna be made at. Because a lot of people gonna want to sell their stuff and get out of these. See, this is disgusting, bro. But it's BlackRock and the small hats putting it out there. They the ones doing it.
Alexa's talking about it. You guys, have you heard of HARP? All of this stuff that the government has, they say for years they've been able to do this kind of stuff. This is ridiculous. And then you have our government not providing aid, especially in the ways that people are normally used to receiving. It's been reported now that they have some aid from FEMA, not much at all, but this is crazy.
Alexa, how many fatalities did Hurricane Milton cause?
From fandom.com. In total, Milton caused 537 deaths and $112 billion in damage.
God Almighty Jesus. Something fishy is going on, you guys.
I gotta look in the black.
And it's a hypothetical article. Why would you write a hypothetical article about a deadly tropical storm? What would be the point of wasting an editor's time, a writer's time? Why are y'all sitting up writing hypothetical articles? For what purpose? The hypothetical hurricanes initially placed a report about a Category 5 Hurricane Milton that caused widespread damage across its path in October 2024. With the genuine Hurricane Milton achieving Category 5 status on October 7th and threatening massive damage on its...
They need to also check the stock market too and see what type of stocks dealing with Florida and hurricane relief items. See, y'all don't understand this. Motherfucker could put a lot of money into hurricane relief items. That was gonna be they making a lot of money off that stuff. If you knew the hurricane was coming, then you could make a lot of money off of this pain and suffering.
Its approach toward Florida. The hypothetical article was taken down. Stop.
Imagine right for the hotel, you dump a lot of money into the hotel rooms. You remember they price gouge. The prices go up on hotel rooms. So imagine they dumping millions into they need to look into all of that, because I promise you they're gonna find people's hands investing in everything that got to do with people needing some assistance during this damn hurricane.
You kidding me? As this year's season has stressed to include 13 named storms that define Tropical Storm Milton as opposed to Hurricane Milton. Y'all, can someone explain to me why they would even waste time to sit down and put, metaphorically speaking, pen to paper and write an article about a deadly hurricane and then have it published so that it's out during the time of the exact same hurricane name with the same location, everything? Why? And then why is Alexa talking about it? Seriously? If the names are retired, then why is Alexa already giving us information about a hurricane that hasn't even happened yet?
You have to program that into Alexa, right?
Was Hurricane Milton previously known as Project Hurricane Phoenix? Now, you're not going to believe what I found, but I found something rather interesting that connects to Hurricane Milton. This would also answer the question as to why they would manipulate Hurricane Milton. What would they gain from it? Because there is a lot of pushback when it comes to the talking point of weather control and weather manipulation lately. That biggest pushback being not that they have the technology to do so, but again, why would they do so? Well, like what we saw with Maui, the Maui fires, that was nothing more than a land grab. And when it comes to Hurricane Helene and North Carolina, well, what came out about that is that there are a lot of lithium deposits under North Carolina, specifically Western North Carolina, like places like Asheville, that was hit the hardest by Hurricane Helene. As I stated in my previous video that has to do with these lithium deposits, there is already a contract in place to harvest these resources. What came out about Maui and the Maui fires was the Mai 2040 Long-Range Transportation Plan, which is basically an instruction manual into turning Maui into a smart city. So when it comes to Hurricane Milton in Florida, the question is, what exactly do they want from Florida? More specifically, the location of Tampa, because Tampa is the location that's being hit the hardest. Well, like I said in the beginning of the video, I found something rather interesting. Reading this article from the Tampa Bay Times, it's titled, Hurricane Phoenix is Tampa Bay's devastating worst case scenario. Phoenix 2.0 is the latest simulation of what would happen if a Category 5 storm were to make landfall here, flooding, destruction, and a decade of rebuilding. So back in 2009, Tampa Bay had what was known as Project Phoenix, which was basically your run-of-the-mill hurricane preparedness, and they also had some sort of simulations going on, but it was your basic standard preparedness guidelines when it comes to a natural disaster. Nothing to see here, nothing unusual, but 5 years ago, this was actually updated to the Phoenix Project 2.0 out of nowhere. This went from your standard hurricane preparedness guidelines to Hurricane Phoenix is the hypothetical disaster that would change life in the Tampa Bay area forever. Continuing to read from the article, it says, imagine a Category 5 storm that drowned South Tampa and turned St. Petersburg into an island. We're going to get back to St. Petersburg because I also found something rather interesting when it comes to St. Petersburg, something very important. The bridges rendered impassable, the airports unusable, and the region's communities left on their own until help arrives. Power loss in some areas could last months. The beaches would be wiped away, as would tourism. Nearly every small business could die. Recovery would take a decade. That is the vivid and grim picture painted by Hurricane Phoenix 2.0, the doomsday scenario hurricane simulation conducted by the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council. This is what was updated out of nowhere 5 years ago. Now, before we do get into the topic of St. Petersburg and what they want from St. Petersburg, I want you to go ahead and take a look at the path of the hypothetical Hurricane Phoenix. As you can see, it makes a very similar path as Hurricane Milton, making landfall on the Tampa Bay area. Also, what's rather eerie is that Hurricane Phoenix forms on October 12th and makes landfall on October 15th, just a few days away from Hurricane Milton. But let's go back to the topic of St. Petersburg, because the simulation of Hurricane Phoenix shows us that St. Petersburg will be turned into an island. Well, you won't believe it. Maybe you will, but there are plans to turn St. Petersburg into a smart city. Well, will you look at that? The only thing that's standing in the way of St. Petersburg being turned into a smart city is, well, Tampa Bay. Looking at this website, St. Pete Innovation District Initiative Smart City, about this initiative, the St. Pete Innovation District's mission is to develop St. Petersburg into an environment that fosters job growth, economic development, and learning and inspiration by bringing innovative people and organizations together. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just beautiful how the pieces always fall together to make a perfect puzzle, how we can connect those dots? Continuing to read from the article, it says, the smart city effort began in 2019. Now, isn't that, look at that. Look at that. Just 1 year later, after this was put together, we now have the updated Phoenix Hurricane Simulation 2.0. You can't make this up. You can't make this up even if you wanted to. But again, continuing to read from the article, it says, the smart city effort began in 2019 with the SPID's admission into the U.S. Ignite Smart Gigabit Communities program. Before we looked at a single technology tool or considered the first pilot project, the Smart City Working Group started with a discussion about our community's challenges, leveraging past studies and the lived experience of citizens. Our discussions spanned infrastructure, education, bicycle safety, transportation, sustainability, and resiliency, small business support, and wayfinding. This was the same exact thing, right down to the wording that was in the Healy-Mai 2040 long-range transportation plan when it came to Maui. You cannot make this up. I am absolutely mind-blown. How does anybody look at this? How does anybody look at this smart city plan, then look at Hurricane Milton, then look at Hurricane Phoenix, the simulated Hurricane Phoenix, and say to themselves, this is normal. This is all normal. This is absolute craziness. Reading the rest of the website, it says, then we looked for ways that existing community expertise and smart city technologies could work to address them. Those discussions led us to select the 4 proof of concept projects that are currently underway: smart lighting, Guardians of the Gulf, STEAM education, smart intersection, and digital inclusion, which is basically those digital IDs.
These nonprofits, governments, and educational institutions to test technology and to help shape solutions that can benefit our community and someday solve problems around the world. Today is an opportunity to learn about 4 pilot projects that we began. They are Smart Streetlights, Guardians of the Gulf, a STEM education program, Smart Intersection, and Digital Inclusion. These projects are not complete. We have work to do, but this is an opportunity to show you our progress and our aspiration for the future. It's also worth mentioning that what you will hear about today are not the only smart city projects happening in St. Petersburg. It's also worth mentioning that what you will hear about today are not the only smart city projects happening in St. Petersburg. There's an autonomous shuttle, energy grid enhancements, and water sensors that are being explored. It's an exciting time for the community as we look to the future. To begin the showcase, we've invited a series of...
So essentially, in 2019, they start working on this smart city initiative, turning St. Petersburg into a smart city. 1 year later, we get the updated simulation involving Hurricane Phoenix targeting Tampa Bay and turning St. Petersburg into an island. Then 4 years later, we get the very real Hurricane Milton turning into a Category 5 targeting Tampa Bay. No, this cannot be real. This cannot be real, but unfortunately, this is very real. Now, I know some people are saying that they are targeting Republican strongholds, Republican voting blocks like Florida, North Carolina, and Georgia, but you have to remember they also targeted Hawaii, and Hawaii has that smart city initiative as well. There are many ways they can go ahead and rig votes if they really wanted to. They are creating these hurricanes not to manipulate the election, but they are targeting certain areas that they want to turn into smart cities. They are targeting certain areas that are plentiful with certain resources. The dots all connect. And I forgot to say that this video is for entertainment purposes only. So I'm not saying that this is what they're doing, but it's rather interesting. It is very, very interesting. And I'm only saying this is not what they're doing for YouTube purposes only. Again, entertainment purposes only. Now, I was going to go ahead and play video footage of the simulation, but for whatever reason, interestingly enough, they put music over the simulation so you can't upload it to your channel because it's now copyright protected and you'll get a copyright strike. Not always do you get a copyright strike by showing copywritten material. Some channels are showing this video footage, but as I was uploading this video along with this video, I did get a pop-up saying that this was copywritten material and I do not mess with copyrights. Now, I also found something rather interesting about the Hurricane Phoenix 2.0 simulation, that it was actually funded by FEMA.
A study called Project Phoenix, funded by FEMA, took a look at the Tampa Bay area as if we were hit by a Cat 5. Power outages would be widespread. Pinellas County, 100% without electricity. Pasco and Hillsborough would experience nearly total power losses too. Almost 700,000 people in Hillsborough County would be displaced. In Pinellas, much worse, close to 1 million. And storm surge would be devastating, topping 26 feet in Tampa, 20 feet in St. Pete, and in Apollo Beach, 24 feet, which is the reason Mayor Buckhorn reminds all of us why evacuation warnings are so crucial.
The Tampa Bay Catastrophic Plan, very ominous name, which includes a scenario where Hurricane Phoenix hits downtown Tampa. The plan projects that the city would see about 2,000 people losing their lives and nearly $250 billion in damages. This now makes a lot of sense as to why we are seeing people asking Alexa about Hurricane Milton, and Alexa is telling these people that Hurricane Milton will be a Category 5 hurricane targeting Tampa Bay and ending a lot of lives. This was before we found out that Hurricane Milton was targeting the Tampa Bay area and turning into a Category 5 hurricane.
Alexa, what kind of hurricane was Hurricane Milton?
From fandom.com. Hurricane Milton was an extremely powerful Category 5 hurricane that caused widespread damage across its path in October 2024.
This is all a script. This is all a part of the plan, and they were playing this all the way back in 2019. Same thing, like I said, with Maui. The 2040 long-range transportation plan, I believe, was also planned out sometime in 2019 or 2020. For those that believe this is just a conspiracy theory, this is nothing. There is a lot of money that goes into this planning. There are a lot of contracts that are being signed. What happens to be rather eerie, if you search 2040 long-range transportation plan, which is, again, essentially smart cities, you will find that many cities, many locations across the United States have this plan. Look at this. Heartland Regional Transportation Planning Organization, North Central Florida Regional Planning Council, Indian River County 2040 Long Range Transportation Plan, Emerald Coast 2040 Long Range Transportation Plan, Broward Regional Long Range Transportation Plan, Metro Plan Orlando Long Range Transportation Plan, Collier 2040 Long Range Transportation Plan, Miami-Dade Transportation Planning Organization 2040 Long Range Transportation Plan, Ocala Marion County 2045 Long Range Transportation Plan. So what the hell is this? This is spooky. Are they planning to turn Florida, the entire state of Florida, into one large smart city? The list goes on and on and on. And like I said, it spans across the United States. Perhaps it goes across the world. Who really knows? Because we do know the 2030 agenda is for every country around the world to follow. So every country around the world will essentially have smart cities. You also have to think of the name Phoenix. What is a phoenix? It is a bird that brings destruction, but after its destruction comes rebirth. It comes rebuilding. So like I said, it all connects. All the dots connect. And all you have to do is just research it a little bit, and you'll keep going down a rabbit hole where everything begins to make sense. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. If you like
This is Dabu 7. A heads up for folks in Florida, as we now have a Category 4 monster storm rapidly intensifying, heading for Florida. They're saying that this will become a Category 5 here at any time. It's just a couple miles an hour away from it, but definitely by this evening. What a curious pattern the NOAA is flying over the region, wouldn't you say? And with all the weaponry and modification going on out here with these storm systems, we've caught them cloud seeding ahead of Harvey before. I'm looking to see if I can find anything on that off the coast of Florida right now. But this thing picking up steam and heading right for Tampa Bay, St. Pete Beach. You can see where it sits right here by 8 o'clock this evening. It will definitely be a Category 5. That could happen at any moment. By the time we even have this video posted, it could become a Cat 5. This Hurricane Milton is undergoing one of the fastest rapid intensifications ever observed in the Atlantic Basin, going into the Gulf there. At 155 miles an hour right now, as at a Category 4 storm, just 2 miles an hour away from the Category 5 status. Not a single weather model predicted that this storm would strengthen this quickly. It's predicted to land at 125 miles an hour at a Category 3 near St. Pete Beach Wednesday evening. But this thing has dropped millibars. Somebody said up to 9 millibars within an hour, which is this turbo intensification. You can see this thing spin up right there, just super spin up. They're saying it dropped like 9 millibars when just 1 millibar an hour is a decent pickup. So this thing just exploding. And can someone explain to me how Alexa already knows what the storm's going to do? This is the crazy stuff with AI and everything that's going on. Listen to this.
Alexa, What kind of hurricane was Hurricane Milton?
From fandom.com. Hurricane Milton was an extremely powerful Category 5 hurricane that caused widespread damage across its path.
Widespread damage across its path. It hasn't even happened yet. And you just heard it say October of 2024. Is this thing like predicting outcomes? Or what? What do we have going on here with all this madness surrounding the storm already? And it hasn't even come close to making landfall. But heads up, folks. A lot of the signs are there with everything that we're seeing people go through in the mountains, Carolinas, Tennessee, Georgia, and everything else in terms of getting help. I salute all of you out there that rise to the occasion, but head on a swivel. This one's coming in hot. It's a monster storm state of emergency already declared right now on this storm as it's making its way in. Join me for the
Well, yes, Tampa, Florida is on the list to become a new 15-minute city. It will happen through the Tampa Moves plan. Yes, you heard me right. Tampa, Florida is on the list to become a new 15-minute city. That's right. The 40 acres of waterfront property is owned by none other than Bill Gates through an investment fund. Waterfront property in Tampa, Florida. Now, thanks to Patriot's Voice for that little Bill Gates part of the story. I knew that Tampa was on the list among Portland, Oregon, Portland, Maine. There's a bunch of other cities right now that are sort of on that target list to become 15-minute cities, and Tampa is one of them. And right now, of course, in the eye of a hurricane. But again, Patriot's Voice, I didn't realize Bill Gates was actually behind it and the funding for it. But that shouldn't surprise any of us, right? He's behind all of it, it seems. And so that, just put that in your brain as you think about this story about Tampa, Florida right now and the storm surges that's about to hit there. But first, get out now or die. That was the message from Florida this morning. Hours ago, Tampa Mayor Jane Castor issued a blunt warning ahead of the massive hurricane that's about to hit. It's being called worse than Helene. She said those who choose to stay will likely die due to this storm. This is the largest storm to ever hit Florida in modern tracking history. It's the largest storm to hit Tampa since 1921. Hurricane Milton, a Category 4 storm at this stage, is expected to bring unprecedented tidal surges up to 15 feet, surpassing the devastation caused by Hurricane Helene. The U.S. Air Force just a short time ago flew through the hurricane and found that it's now strengthening once again. So this thing could go, down to 3, Category 3, up to 4, maybe up to 5 again, back down to 4. It's hard to tell at this moment exactly how big it's going to be once it strikes, but there's no escaping the fact that it is going to hit Florida. There's no way around it. It's going to be massive wherever it hits. We could talk about the specific spots of where in Tampa, north, south of Tampa, it's going to hit. It's going to hit the coast, and it's absolutely devastating. Just look right now at people trying to get out of there. It's like wall-to-wall traffic, people trying to get out. They've, of course, shut down water. They've shut down sewers. City of Orlando has lowered the water levels of the river capacity now to try to absorb as much of this as possible in Orlando. Castor, the mayor, stressed that the storm's catastrophic impact could be unlike anything residents have ever experienced, and wants people out of there right now. And it seems, according to the reports that I'm hearing, that people are heeding this warning and they're getting out of here. Mm-hmm. They're not trying to play around with this.
Well, and
trying to stay.
You know what else is in Tampa, right? Is the Capcom. So all the communications for all the ships and warships and everything in the ocean and all that. So it's like
there's a lot of stuff in Tampa. There's a lot of what am I trying to say? Intelligence community stuff in Tampa as well. So this is going to be devastating. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is trying her best right now to pretend that she's in charge. It's almost she's like a paratrooper trying to like parachute in right now. Like, hey, I'm here, guys, and I'm going to put on a flak jacket and pretend that I'm part of this team. I'm going to suddenly pretend that I have anything to do with this. And President Biden isn't having it. So something fishy is going on right now at the White House. This is sort of the drama behind the scenes, but I'm telling you something big is happening. Something very fishy is going on. There's a couple of different angles to this right now. So according to Jack Prosovic, just last night, there was a physical altercation between Jill Biden, who's essentially the president at the moment, and Kamala's staffers. Physical, not just an altercation, a physical altercation in the White House after Joe's press room last week began with accusations that the Bidens were undermining Kamala deliberately. And this is from a White House official. So somebody got in a fight with Kamala staffers about this. They think that the Biden administration right now, President Biden, is trying to undermine Kamala Harris.
Or you could read between the lines and interpret that as that Kamala's campaign staffers wanted to place her in the center of some action, and the Bidens said no.
Right. I mean, that could be the exactly. That's the point I think that is happening here, is that they're trying to stick her into these moments now. Go ahead, Philip.
Well, I'm just like I'm just like processing this, but so they're saying that the president of the United States is being accused of trying to undermine the vice president of the United States. Like that just seems a little on the backwards to me.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what's happening. Again, remember, he wanted to run for president. He was thrown out in a coup, and he's still pissed about it. So the idea that, of course, he is somehow in love with Kamala Harris and her team is garbage at this stage. I mean, he was thrown out. And in moments of clarity, I'm sure he's aware of that. And Jill Biden, by the way, was furious about the whole thing, didn't want to have anything to do with it, and fought tooth and nail to make sure that President Biden was still the nominee in the new year.
Which, by the way, he was polling higher when they threw him out than she is currently polling right now.
Yes. So it's devastating. And there's a couple of pieces. I mean, just a few minutes ago, actually, President Biden is in Milwaukee. So he's in Milwaukee right now. Again, all these pieces coming together, guys. Just kind of stay with me here. Just try to grapple all these apples right now as they come together. So her polls, new polls out overnight, show that she's doing really terribly among blue-collar workers in America. That blue-collar workers think that she's a fraud, right? So these are hardworking Americans, blue-collar workers. So what does Biden do today? He goes to Milwaukee and gives a speech in Milwaukee, not with Kamala. He goes by himself to talk about steel fitting and the infrastructure package. He's speaking to blue-collar workers. This is not a coincidence. On the same day that this new poll comes out, he's speaking to blue-collar workers, basically showing them like, hey, I'm your guy. And she's tanking in the polls. It's fascinating. So yesterday, she accused Ron DeSantis of Florida of ignoring her phone calls. Here's the beauty. She gets on the phone and is trying to call Florida. Meanwhile, President Biden has already been talking to him. So she gets on the phone and he won't take her calls. Ron DeSantis is like, you're not going to play politics with this hurricane. You're trying to jump on the phone now and pretend that you're in charge. You're somehow in charge of FEMA. You're trying to look presidential. You have no authority.
Well, to be clear, the press said that she had called and wouldn't take the calls. He later clarifies that I don't know who he called. She's not involved. So watch her sort of faux outrage as she's playing politics and accusing him of playing politics when really that's what she's doing. Yeah, let's watch.
Moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games with this moment in these crisis situations, these are the height of emergency situations, is just utterly irresponsible, and it is selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Yeah, so apparently DeSantis not taking her phone calls. She's trying to call and he's ignoring her phone calls. This is really upsetting liberals. This is really upsetting liberals on social media in Florida who are, really upset that Ron DeSantis won't take phone calls from Kamala Harris. Just look at the liberal tears. Watch.
This is not political unless you make it political. This weather is not political. It's weather. It's not political unless you make it political. Ron DeSantis is refusing to take calls from the White House. Kamala Harris. Because he says they're politically motivated. We are in the middle of a fucking disaster. It's going to come hit us. and he won't take calls from the White House.
Well, if you go to the governor's website, it has a long list of people that he's pretty worried about now. People in juvenile detention centers, people in nursing homes, animal sanctuaries. He's pretty stinking busy, and it is a long list of things that they're actually taking care of. Has nothing to do with anybody's campaign. So what resources does Kamala Harris have at her fingertips that Joe Biden cannot release? Who is it important to talk to at this point?
So here is Ron DeSantis. He responding to all of this. He spoke on my old show, Fox and Friends, this morning to the team over there, and he just slammed her. Well, listen to this response. Watch.
And we've been laser focused on leveraging all resources available, including from the federal government. And I've been in touch with both FEMA and the president, as well as marshaling all our state agencies and working to support our local communities. And so for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this. No. And here's the thing. She has no role. No, she has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the president of the United States. I'm in contact with FEMA director. I'm obviously managing all our state agencies. We're supporting all our local government. And I will say this. I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign.
So actually that was Hannity, not Fox and Friends. But nevertheless, he's saying she's trying to call. I'm already talking to the president. I'm talking to your boss. I'm already dealing with the president at the federal level. And so President Biden just about 2 hours ago was asked directly that question. And again, so I want you to understand how this is all sort of coming together here. He just threw Kamala under the bus. Listen to Biden. Listen, you have to listen to some cacophony of some reporters yelling questions to him, but one of the questions specifically is about working with DeSantis. Did you talk to DeSantis? Are you working with the governor of Florida? And listen to his response.
The governor of Florida has been cooperative. He said he's gotten all that he needs. I talked to him again yesterday, and I said, no, you're doing a great job. It's all being done well. We thank you for it. And I literally gave my personal phone number to call. So I don't know. There was a rough start in some places, but every governor from Florida to North Carolina has been fully cooperative and supportive and acknowledged what this team is doing. And they're doing an incredible job. But we got a lot more to do.
You can't have it both ways. She can't be in charge of the country and not take responsibility for the country. So that's her campaign. She's done great things as vice president, but everything bad she's not responsible for. She has no leverage on FEMA. The president is still alive and working, but she wants to be involved in FEMA and also show that she takes the credit. So,
so
okay,
maybe
which one is it?
Head to the border now. Just go. If the hurricane stuff is all taken care of by Biden and the governors, head to the border. Let's focus on that now.
Right. Well, she was just there, and for the second time, really, or really the first time, because the first time she was in a holding area. But yeah, I mean, so she's either taking care of FEMA's response, a big part of the hurricane response, both in Hurricane Helene and what's going on in Florida, or you're not involved with it. Or there's a third way, which is you go on The View and you somehow blame the federal government's response on Hurricane Helene. You've got to figure out a way to blame it on President Trump, of course, because he's not president. Watch.
Kamala, and I'm calling you Kamala because for all of those who are mispronouncing it, I want you all to know how to say it. But let's talk about something you would do different from Donald Trump. Right now, there is a monster storm barreling towards my state of Florida, a place that's still reeling from Hurricane Helene. Trump is lying, claiming that the Biden administration is intentionally withholding aid from the areas where Republicans live and that FEMA funds are being redirected to migrants. Ironically, that is something he did in 2019. What do you think the effect of these lies are, and why is he doing this?
It's profound, and it is the height of irresponsibility and, frankly, callousness. So lives are literally at stake right now. I traveled to Georgia and to North Carolina after Hurricane Helene. In Georgia, I met a woman who just days earlier, her husband was killed in their home by a fallen tree. Days later, I met with her and her daughter. You can imagine the pain, the shock that they are still in about what they experienced, what they witnessed. I mean, we're talking about real human beings and their lives and them losing everything. Everything. This woman lost her husband, her child lost her father. People are losing their home with no hope of ever being able to reconstruct or return. And the idea that somebody would be playing political games for the sake of himself, but this is so consistent about Donald Trump. He puts himself before the needs of others. I fear that he really lacks empathy on a very basic level to care about the suffering of other people and then understand the role of a leader is not to beat people down, it's to lift people up.
Absolutely.
Especially in a time of crisis.
She's beating down Trump.
Okay.
Then put on some sweats and go hand out supplies and stop doing all these press junkets.
Yeah, shovel some sand then into some bags. How about that?
Show us how human you are.
You know, of course, you know, if you look at how FEMA has been destroyed with DEI over the past couple of years, you know, this is a direct response to how the Biden administration put the idea of equity in FEMA and restructured FEMA instead of focusing on the actual storm response and how they could marshal money, correctly. They're worried about illegal migrants being labeled misgendered. I mean, that's FEMA's focus right now. And that was all done under the Biden administration. That was all done under Biden and Harris administration. So it's amazing to watch her just sort of parachuting in on these situations right now. And then to me, it's more interesting, though, to watch how President Biden and the White House is throwing her under the bus right now.
Right.
And, you know, pointing out that she's not involved in this. By the way, if she was involved with this, they would have had her sitting next to President Biden today instead of Jennifer Granholm. They would have had Kamala Harris sitting right next to him during this press conference today, and they didn't. And they didn't do it on purpose. They didn't do it on purpose.
I saw a meme that said, "Stop having press conferences while I'm on Howard Stern." It's inconvenient because I've decided to do friendly press now. Go ahead, David.
Well, and I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying it looks like Biden is intentionally trying to tank her campaign, and like it does look that way. I mean,
yeah, it's hard not to see it that way.
She's the one tanking it. But he's just not saying the same narrative she is. He's telling the truth with this instance.
So there you have it. Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Tempe, Arizona, Los Angeles, Columbus, Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, Cincinnati, Lexington, Burbank, California, and Honolulu. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets. Don't go anywhere else. I have one more clip of cringe Jean Pierre. So they were asking her, hey, FEMA's out of money to give to hurricane victims, because that's what Mayorkas said. That's what she just said. She just said they're going to need additional funding.
Well, I guess she didn't want to answer the Lebanon part.
And so a lot of people were saying, yeah, that's because you spent it on illegal immigrants. You took that FEMA money and gave it for disasters, and you gave it to illegal immigrants.
$1 billion, I believe, Jimmy.
So here they're going to ask her about that. She's going to say that's a lie. That's misinformation. But we have a video of her from 2022 Well, watch this. Let's play it.
It's just categorically false.
It's categorically false. So when someone says something is, I don't even know what that means categorically. If you put it in a category, put it in a category, then it's false. What is there? What when someone has to add that extra word categorically, it's just automatically suspect. But she says,
what's so suspect about qualifying the word false?
So right. So someone's asking her that you spent the FEMA money on illegal immigrants, and she says that's well, let's listen.
It's just categorically false. It is not true. It is a false statement. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants.
No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. Well, guess who's going to contradict her? Her former self. 2 years ago, she said this.
Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
So there you have it.
This whole country's like a chick getting cheated on that suspects something. They pass a law you can't look in your boyfriend's phone. Unbelievable.
Let's watch that again. This is stunning.
It's just categorically false. It is not true. It is a false statement. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
That is categorically false. You mean what you said 2 years ago? You mean what you said 2 years ago? And she never looks up. If you ever do an impression of her stuff, remember, never look up, never make eye contact with the people you're lying to.
Yeah. It is false. It's not a true statement. It is the opposite of what is true. It's like every obvious lying thing.
She can't look America in the eye because she knows she's a fucking liar. I want to see it again.
It's just categorically false. It is not true. It is a false statement. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
They're such big liars. They make Fox News look like truth tellers.
Well, you can't. I mean, if you have the actual footage of someone contradicting themselves, it's kind of a
slam dunk.
Yeah, like I mean, you would have to be like a complete idiot not to post that.
That is just call everybody a liar. Call everybody a misinformer. That's the game. That's the whole game. Half the country now are just liars. Everything you don't like is misinformation. Everybody's irresponsible. Again, the biggest liars are always the government. The biggest liars and spreaders of misinformation and disinformation and flat out lies are always government. Second is the corporate media, because they work hand in hand. And a distant third are randos on social media. The biggest lie, the people who need to be censored from lying and misinformation, everyone knows it's the government. Look at all the lies corporate media told you just around Russiagate, just around Ukraine, just around COVID. You know, I make fun on stage in Los Angeles. I was in Hermosa Beach Comedy Magic Club, great club. Saturday night. Hundreds of people. They don't know me. They don't know I'm coming. These are random people. I make fun of
some magic, really.
I make fun of how much we're being lied to about the Ukraine war, and they all spontaneously laugh and applaud. I make fun of how much we're being lied to about Ukraine. And they all spontaneously know we are. They spontaneously laugh, involuntarily laugh, and spontaneously applaud. The biggest liars always. So this idea that government is going to somehow get rid of misinformation on social media just means that you're living in a fascist country. That they want to control your speech. And they don't respect the First Amendment, and because they're losing control. What a liar.
Now they throwing around the word misinformation. Well, was we misinformed when we heard what we heard directly from her mouth?
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750.
And was we also misinformed when the director of FEMA, Mayorkas, came out and said what he said, or did he misspeak?
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
Now, since y'all want to say everything is so misinformation and misinformed, I just have a few questions. That's it. Is the critical needs payout of $750 only a one-time payout per household, not per person, and you would need to qualify, which also indicates that you may be denied? Just asking.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me today. If you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button, because that's the most important thing you can do for me on this channel. What it does, that helps to make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel when they get their notifications, and also helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Secondly, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you've been ghost watching the channel for quite some time now, please do me a favor and yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button, so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to inform them on this news and information. And yes, that does help to give me a slight boost in the YouTube algorithm as well. And with the introduction out of the way, let's get into today's news. It is unbelievable to me how you can literally blame Donald Trump for anything and everything. Whatever's wrong in your life, you spilt your coffee this morning, your alarm didn't go off and you were late to work, maybe you caught a flat tire on your way to work. Whatever the issue is, whatever the problem is, blame Donald Trump. You can do that for sure. And that's what we're getting ready to watch here. We're seeing now that Kamala Harris is amping up her interview output because the reality is that she's struggling badly in the polling. And if we're going based off of her polling numbers compared to Biden and Clinton, she's going to get destroyed this election, because Donald Trump always overperforms his polls. And because hiding Kamala in the basement has not worked up until this point, now the interviews are coming out more and more and more. She was recently on The View, and I want you to just sit and listen to her discuss the FEMA disaster relief and how FEMA's lackluster approach at helping citizens in the midst of a disaster, on top of them running out of money, not because that's what I said, because I'm spewing misinformation, but because that's what Alejandro Mayorkas said. I want you to see how Kamala Harris and The View were able to blame that on Trump. Unbelievable.
Kamala, and I'm calling you Kamala because for all of those who are mispronouncing it, I want you all to know how to say it.
Shut up. It's worth the pause. It's unbelievable how they're able to just harp so much on Kamala versus Kamala. Meanwhile, these people consistently refer to Trump as the man with the little mustache, the main character of World War II. Listen to the CNN clip very quickly before we get back into this clip from The View, where they're literally going to tell you that if Donald Trump gets back in office, he's going to start exterminating people based on their genes. if you're not Aryan race, Donald Trump is going to apparently exterminate you. Think that I'm joking? I'm not. Let's get into it.
Long known that Donald Trump has revered the Nazis. He has revered Hitler. He's read his book. He used to say he had it on his nightstand. Donald Trump has had a very sinister philosophy, wanting to be a dictator, absolutely dividing people up based on who they are, based on factors about them that have to do with their race and their gender, etc. And when he uses language like this, I don't think that it's a Freudian slip. I think that the danger of a Donald Trump is that he would absolutely try to exterminate an entire group of people because he thinks that their genes are somehow different than his and faulty. And I say this with all the sternness that you hear in my voice.
Lord have mercy. Anyways, like I said, it was worth me pausing it. Let's just get back into the view. Let's just get back into the view.
About something you would do different from Donald Trump. Right now, there is a monster storm barreling towards my state of Florida, a place that's still reeling from Hurricane Helene. Trump is lying, claiming that the Biden administration is intentionally withholding aid from the areas where Republicans live, and that FEMA funds.
He literally never said the Biden administration is intentionally withholding aid. He never said that. All these wicked demons do is lie.
Funds are being redirected to migrants. Ironically, that is something he did in 2019. What do you think the effect of these lies are, and why is he doing this?
Well, it's profound, and it is the height of irresponsibility and frankly callousness. So lives are literally at stake right now. I traveled to Georgia and to North Carolina after Hurricane Helene.
7 to 8 days too late, but carry on. A week later, while Biden was chilling on the beach and you were doing podcasts with Call Her Daddy, a freak off podcast, but carry on.
In Georgia, I met a woman who just days earlier, her husband was killed in their home by a fallen tree.
That was Donald Trump's fault.
Days later, I met with her and her daughter. You can imagine the pain, the shock that they are still in about what they experienced, what they witnessed. I mean, we're talking about real human beings and their lives and them losing everything. Everything. This woman lost her husband, her child, father. People are losing their home with no hope of ever being able to reconstruct or return.
Well, if they were your migrants, Harris's migrants, they'd be getting free housing like so many of your migrants are getting all across the country. But I digress. Carry on.
And the idea that somebody would be playing political games for the sake of himself, but this is so consistent about Donald Trump. He puts himself before the needs of others. I fear that he really lacks empathy on a very basic level to care about the suffering of other people and then understand the role of a leader is not to beat people down, it's to lift people up.
Absolutely.
Especially in a time of crisis.
This is just, listening to this garbage is so difficult. They're creating a narrative from a lie. You are asked a question, well, what are these lies that Donald Trump is telling? How are they affecting, FEMA response? How are they affecting, the aftermath of the hurricane as it pertains to people needing help? Because he's spreading such vicious lies, because, he is an admirer of the man with the small mustache. Kamala Harris, because it's all nonsense, proceeds to tell us a story about a tree that fell on a man and killed him. And I'm not making light of that. That's not something to laugh about. But I don't know what that has to do with Donald Trump. I don't know what a tree falling on you in the middle of a hurricane, how is that Donald Trump's fault? What are we even talking about or discussing here? This is the foolishness that they put forth as news, as information, and as truth. And when you call this foolishness out for what it is, you and I are the ones that are pushing misinformation. Unbelievable. But that's the America that we're living in today under the Harris-Biden administration. And this type of foolishness is only going to amplify if Harris gets back into office. And with all that being said, that does it for today's news. So I want to thank you all for joining me.
Speaking directly to the press or to the American people. But her interview with 60 Minutes this week did her no favors at all. Now, we can't play you clips of that because 60 Minutes is very bullish about taking down anyone who shows clips of their videos, but we're still going to talk about it on this platform. I will show you the highlights. The transcripts are available. I linked you to them in the newsletter today so you can watch for yourself. But first, about their interview with Donald Trump. Now, the show made a big deal that Donald Trump was one of the first presidential candidates not to appear on their show in the months before an election. In 50 years, they say that this is an important American tradition for the candidates to be on 60 Minutes, and they are very sad that he wouldn't do the show. This seems maybe more of a sad commentary on the waning influence of legacy media than a real flex on Donald Trump, but they still took the piss out of him, even though they failed us. They failed Trump, certainly, but they failed us as viewers with their 2020 interview of Donald Trump. Now, they say, hey, remember last time he was on here, he walked out. They do not say that they falsely reported his claims. Remember this 2020 campaign interview with 60 Minutes. He sat with Leslie Stahl. Here is that transcript, and you can see it yourself. And he says one of the biggest scandals was when they spied on my campaign. He means the Democrats. And she says, no, there's no evidence. No, she just keeps pushing back, sir. She says, this is 60 Minutes. We can't put things on that we can't verify. Well, it turns out that his campaign was spied on by the Clinton campaign. We learned that in the FBI's own Dunham special counsel investigation. In fact, they indicted a man for doing just that. Now, 60 Minutes should apologize to the viewer, or at least tell them, hey, last time he was on, we pushed back on things he said that we thought weren't true because we didn't bother to investigate it because he said it. Those things turned out to be true. We're going to do better this time. We owe you an apology. I mean, less again to Donald Trump than to us, the viewer, because they're saying those things weren't true. They were lying to us. She also pushed back on the Hunter Biden laptop and the fact that the Bidens had accepted money from abroad. Here is how they said, these things are... He pushed us on the lack of coverage of the unproven and unverified charges about the Bidens receiving money from abroad. But those things also turned out to be true. We have seen evidence of that from the House Judiciary Committee and the evidence they presented that Congress doesn't want to really move on, and neither does the Justice Department, but they exist. We've seen the proof. So would you do an interview with them after this? They owe us an apology. They owe Trump an apology. They never investigated those things. They just wanted to say, we haven't seen that and we won't, and you're wrong, and we're just going to keep saying no. Well, maybe since they were so off base on Trump, Kamala Harris thought that they would be friendly to her, and she was wrong. In fact, 60 Minutes host Bill Whitaker came at her for all the things that we have wanted answers for. It was really something to see. He pushed her on the border wall. Here is what she said. He said, there was a historic flood of undocumented immigrants coming across the border for the first 3 years of your administration. Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as you did? And she says, well, blah, 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 blah. You can read it for yourself. And he comes back at her. He's not having it. He says, well, no, what I was asking, was it a mistake to allow this in the first place? Well, blah, blah, blah. And he says, but the numbers did quadruple. Well, the numbers today, he says, under your watch, should you have done that? He is a dog with a bone. And she says, well, immigrants, fentanyl, blah, blah, blah. And he says, again, should you have done that? She continues to push this answer that Congress needs to solve this and not her, which doesn't make sense because her administration lifted the requirements for immigration and opened the floodgates. They didn't use Congress for that. They just did it. So how can she say, we just took the power to do it, but we need Congress to undo it? It makes no sense.
On day one of his presidency, they undid through executive orders, they undid all of those Trump border policies.
Which was a campaign promise that she herself advocated for. In fact, she advocated for more during her own candidacy before she was named as the vice presidential candidate. So again,
I'd say that's what she's running on now. She's saying she's going to fix the border. Like she will fix the border. That's what she is saying. Yeah. She is going to fix it. But obviously she doesn't think she actually can. So why is she saying
right? When he's pointing out you broke it even more than it was already broken.
Yeah, and you skipped over a part because I know you're trying to keep it brief, but he says, since Trump left, border crossings have quadrupled under your watch. This is 60 Minutes saying this to her. Right. So again, I come back to the segment we did a few minutes ago. Something fishy is going on here. CBS is a extension of the White House. It is a extension of the CIA and the deep state, right?
Yes.
And it is a liberal news station and an extension of the White House. Why are they? I mean, they're destroying her with this. This is arguably one of the worst interviews a presidential candidate has ever given.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't give her any softballs.
No, I mean, that was exactly my, as I was watching it, I was like, what is this? This is real. Why is this happening? Right. I'm prepared for the propaganda. The propaganda is not coming. I don't know what to do with this.
And not to pull the race card, but I think it's good that they used a black interviewer to do the interview because they would have been saying, oh, he was just attacking her because he's white and she's black.
Yeah, he's a racist. Oh, no, he's black? Oh, okay, no, it's fine. He's just a tough interviewer then. Right. He's not racist. He's just a tough interviewer.
Yes. Yeah. And again, I want to point out that this bill that they're pushing about Congress, the bill is to fund the border wall. It is not to solve the problem that has broken further under the Biden-Harris administration. It would not handle any deportation. It would not address illegals who are currently in the country. It would only strengthen the wall as it is now, which again, they have refused to do. So now how he pushed her on her economic plan, she really only spoke about spending, not about paying for it. Here are some excerpts. He says, it's estimated that your plan would cost $3 trillion to the deficit. How are you going to pay for that? And she says, well, her answer, well, economists like my plan. She doesn't say, like people like it. Okay, that's cool.
So he says, okay, so the other economists like my plan,
right?
Not the ones that CBS talked about.
Yeah, and he says, and she says, no, she gives him this I'm speaking bit, but it's to invest in the economy, small business, and he says, yes, I keep asking you, how are you going to pay for it? Take a look. And she says, well, again, taxing the rich is one of her, it's not fair. And he's like, we're dealing with the real world here. How are you going to pay for it? Because he quite correctly points out that Congress is not going to allow you to raise taxes. And there's been no appetite for them. And he says, how are you going to put this through Congress? And she's like, they want it. And he's like, no, they don't. Look at what he says next is Congress has shown no inclination to move in your direction. No, actually, that's not true, she says. She doesn't say who supports it. She doesn't say how she would do it. She just says, actually, I think there is like a temperament for increasing taxes. I think I can do it, even though President Biden was not able to. I'm pretty sure I can. Now, he asked her about how she jumped over the primary process, and this was not in the main interview. This is in 60 Minutes overtime. I think it should have been in the main interview because it was great. Specifically, he asked her, was democracy best served without a Democratic primary? He said, you didn't have to fight off any contenders in the process. That's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to be primaried. What she answered was that President Biden's decision would be remembered by history as rare because he put country before self. She says she earned the support of delegates, not the people, clearly. And you might recall that she performed terribly in the 2020 primaries. So
she was the first one out.
Yeah.
She was at the bottom. I mean, she was behind Andrew Yang. She was behind Bernie Sanders. She was behind all of them.
Right.
She was out first. And so she's the candidate?
Yeah.
I love that he asked her that question.
Now, later he says a quarter of registered voters say they just don't know you. They don't know what makes you tick. And why do you think that is? What's the disconnect? And now this part where she says, look, this is an election. I take it seriously that I have to earn everyone's vote. She says, I'm just like, did you just say that? No one should be able to take for granted that they can just declare themselves a candidate and automatically receive support. And I was like, you just did that 2 months ago. You just declared
no one should be able to take for granted.
Wait, what? That's
You're
what's
living
happening.
in the past, Natalie. You got to get over that. You got to get over that.
Okay.
We're moving forward from here on.
Even Grover's pissed about that. You hear him.
Yeah. Okay. And he asked her why she's flipped on so many issues. And she said it's because she travels a lot and she's learned a lot in gaining perspective. And I think that's a valid answer. I don't buy it because she seems to have so much humility. This is my opinion. You don't have to share it with me. But yeah, it could be true. You gain humility and perspective from meeting people. Maybe that's the case. But, you know, I would like her to answer for the fact that, okay, do you think taxpayers should pay for transgender surgeries, for sex change surgeries? Do you think that we should defund the police? Do you not believe that anymore? Tell me why you think that's not the case. Is it because these liberal cities are dystopic hell? Then, you know, that's more what I want to hear.
One of his pointed questions was specifically on flip-flopping on so many issues.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, he says this, you've flip-flopped on every one of your major issues. You were totally against fracking. And she sat there. She didn't like jump in. He said, you were totally against fracking and now you're for it. You were totally against a border wall and now you're for it.
Mm-hmm.
You were, what else did he say? You're totally against, there was like a couple of things.
It escapes me at
there's
this moment.
There was a whole bunch of them. And she just said, and then she just sat there and like wilted. Like, she's like, oh, this isn't going to be the interview I thought it was going to be. Yeah. 60 Minutes is dead. So many people in the chat are saying it's dead. It has been for years. Exactly right. Maybe this is like 60 Minutes trying to revive itself once again by doing actual journalism.
Look, we both went to journalism school. It was presented to us as the gold standard of journalism in journalism school in the early 2000s when we were in school, right? And so Clayton and I have always had this reverence for it, and it's a gut check
Back in
to
the day.
us.
Yeah.
When we were baby journalists just out of college. And now having seen them not apologize for lies, I'm not happy about that, but I don't know how to feel about the fact that there's one left. There's one person left who's willing to push for the truth. This reporter, Bill Whitaker, is welcome on Redacted if they punish him for it. I want to say that. Now, there is also, I cannot show you this, but there's evidence that her answer on Israel was edited in order to make her seem more favorable towards Israel instead of what the whole Biden administration and the State Department seems to be displaying to us is the fact that they cannot influence Israel, but they will not withhold aid. That's the story.
And so the video that the CBS then put out on their website is an edited version of her response. You can actually watch the unedited version of her response. I don't understand why they would edit it. I don't get that at all.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Also,
she talked about guns too.
Oh, sure. You want to talk about
So this was Bill Whitaker asked her about guns, because she's flip-flopped on this position, right? So she talked all about, he's like, do you have guns? You use guns? She's like, yeah, I have a Glock. And okay, which Glock? Because if any Glock owner would probably, give you the numeral afterwards. Is it a Glock 19? I mean, Glock makes 50 different guns. Like, which one is it? Like, how often do you fire it? Do you use it on a regular? So if you ask me, like, what gun do you have? I'd say, I'd name the gun that I use in the, X365 or whatever it is, right? But she's flip-flopped on the magazine issue. And I was going to show you a magazine here, but according to YouTube's terms of service, we'd get in deep shit. So we can't show you that. This is crazy. I mean, this is how YouTube is. So I'll just show you my range bag here. But inside, what are you doing? I was going to say, because I was going to bring out a magazine and show it, but I can't show it.
You want to show what a gun owner actually talks like when they...
No. I wanted to point out a magazine because she specifically wants to eliminate high capacity magazines. Well, as a Glock owner, you would know that that's it holds 10 rounds. So anything over 7 is basically what she's looking to ban. Mm-hmm. So she'd be banning her own gun. Right. So Bill Whitaker didn't push her on that. I would have loved for her to have talked about that.
Maybe he doesn't know.
Well, maybe he doesn't, but he seemed to know a lot of other things. But she's like, oh yeah, I shoot it. What did she say? I shoot it at the range, or
he said, have you ever fired it And she said, yes, of course I have, at the range.
At the range.
Right.
Right. But again, so if she's got a Glock, which one was it? And does it then violate her own standards for high capacity? If she says anything over 7 rounds is what she wants to go after, and if she has a Glock 19, she's got what, 10 rounds? So she'd be basically eliminating her own gun. She's like, I would never want to take your guns. I'm a law-abiding gun owner. I'm a registered gun owner.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So your own policy then would eliminate the gun that you have in your own house, is what I'm saying. So the hypocrisy is thick with her on so many different issues. The gun issue is one of them. Okay. So many people online, of course, who are gun owners who are way more fluent in gun language and usage than certainly I am. We're like, no one would respond this way. And by the way, calling out her hypocrisy on how often she's using it. Like, when are you going to a gun range? Tell us when the last time you've been to a gun range, because that would be well documented as vice president of the United States.
Sure.
So in the last 3.5 years, while you've been vice president, we have a full calendar of all of your whereabouts and all of your appearances. Do any of those include going to the gun range in California?
Because that would be a Secret Service nightmare, is that your main charge is going to a place where they're only firing guns. Like, could you even secure that as Secret Service?
Right. I mean, I'd like for a White House reporter that has access to those White House visitors logs, the transportation logs for the vice president. They're handed those every day, part of the daily briefing, right? Where they're going to be, where they're traveling with, all of those things. We should know as Americans, when's the last time you've been there? Like, you're talking about that you're not going to take people's guns away.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying you go to the gun range. Well, let us know then, because it's
valid for her to say, I did this 10 years ago. I'm not practiced, but I felt this. Like, that's fine.
Yeah, but she didn't say that.
Well, but she's also not trying to make us think that she's John Wick either.
She is, though. She's talked repeatedly about how she's a registered gun owner and they like hunting, and she and her husband like to have guns, and they're not going to take your guns away. So her policies.
As much virtue signaling as she does, if she was actually going to a gun range, they'd get that on film so that she could back it up. They would be there.
But
and
liberals don't want to see that. It would upset them.
Oh yeah, it would totally destroy her liberal base. Right? She can talk out of both sides of her mouth. Right? That's a great point, Natalie. Like, yeah. They don't want to see that. They don't want to have footage of that. Like like John Kerry with a gun. Going out hunting.
It's okay for you to say you have a gun. We just don't want to see you with it.
Right. Exactly.
Sure. Okay. So she, while President Biden is doing serious press conferences about the hurricane this week, she is doing other, I want to say, friendly media. She was on The View. We showed you that earlier. She was on Howard Stern this morning. She will be on the Late Night with Stephen Colbert. She was on a sex podcast called Call Her Daddy this week. Is this working for her? Well, what she's clearly trying to do is make us like her, because her policies are so vapid that what she really needs is this sort of star quality that I'm not sure that she's got, because what she's saying is more of the same that we have from this administration, is ratcheting up debt, continuing war, not solving the border crisis. Oddly enough, though, since liberals are following her around to these press appearances, people seem to be suddenly offended that she would go on Howard Stern because he has been offensive in the past. Like, who did not know that Howard Stern was offensive before today? Like, how could she go on there because he's used the N-word before? Yeah, he's done much worse than that. He has people touch themselves. He has people get naked in the very chair she was sitting in. He has had fart contests. Like, why is this all of a sudden?
Suddenly people are shocked.
That she would do Howard Stern when, again, Joe Biden did Howard Stern about 2 months ago. Go ahead, David.
Well, and in 2008, Howard Stern went on a tirade saying he was never, ever in his life going to vote Democrat again. Even if God was to become a Democrat, he would not vote Democrat. Like, he was on a tirade about it.
Why did he say that?
It was after Hurricane Sandy,
because
right?
he said the FCC were communists for what they were trying to do to radio stations and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but now he's changed his tune, right?
Yeah.
Now he loves the war in Ukraine. He loves it. He loves all war, he loves the COVID
people
vaccine.
Dying, apparently, he loves
so
genocide.
he's some kind of, either he's been captured or he's just too far down the rabbit hole of the media echo chamber. I have no idea, but it's hilarious that people are thinking like, wait, he's offensive, but the sex podcast wasn't. Like, literally, they talked about things that I won't say. This same host before Kamala Harris sat in that chair. So, okay, You know, you let me know if you think that this is actually personalizing her. Is that a word? Personalizing? Personal. I made
Depends
it up.
on how you're using it.
So
Wow. What was that about? That's crazy. Look at that. That's just horrible. Let me explain what's going on. What you're seeing right now is a Black Hawk helicopter in Western North Carolina. And what they're doing is sabotaging a volunteer supply zone. Okay. Basically a donation site in Western North Carolina. These are the people that are supporting the natives out there, supporting people in Western North Carolina, like Asheville, for example. There are a lot of spots out there where the American people took it upon themselves to help Americans because they see that the government is doing things like this, literally sabotaging donation zones where people could pick up supplies and pick up food for free, things that they need. They're essentials. But yet some unmarked Black Hawk helicopter was sabotaging the area. What they did was hovered over the area and rotor washed it. That's not, look at that. That's not good. That's not good at all. And like, for what? Nobody requested that. I mean, what was that going to do? You made everybody suffer from having to clean all that up? Who's going to answer to this? And I trust these sources because these are people that are actually there, boots on the ground. They're not making this up. I'm also going to play a video of somebody capturing what it looked like on the other side of this. And that I'm pretty sure the audio is going to pick back up because there was no music there. Look at that. And then the Black Hawk flies away. What was that about? Look at that. That's the Black Hawk.
Look at that. Look what they did. Look what they did. Look what that helicopter did. Come on, dude. Oh my gosh.
All right, here's the truth about the FEMA presence in Asheville, Swannanoa, and Black Mountain. While the media is making it out like FEMA's got a big presence here, let me tell you something. I've been here since day one, the night the storm came. I'm in Swannanoa right now, and I live right over there, and I have seen zero FEMA, okay? I'm not saying that FEMA's not here. FEMA is here. Now, we talked to our friends in Black Mountain a few nights ago that's volunteering. They work at one of our favorite restaurants. We said, what's the deal with FEMA? Is FEMA confiscating stuff? Everybody's been saying that on the internet. Listen, they said that FEMA did come through to this big donation center there and told them they wanted to take all control of all supplies. They wanted to go to one central hub, and in that hub, they would control who gets what. But I'm going to show you one spot of probably 50 or 100 spots. That's the local network of volunteers and people that are local coming in to help this community. Like, just look at this. There's a big long line of cars and all this free stuff, free hot.
But hold up. Wait a minute, because now that I think about that, now that will give us the reason why we see the Black Hawk, okay, coming over there sabotaging that area with the rotor wash. And they just so happen to capture that one on camera. Now, what if they're doing that to more than one, in which they had been? Because multiple reports were coming out yesterday, day before yesterday, and today
of this same thing.
Food, free water, free supplies, free medical supplies, everything you want. Right over here is a whole team of people just out grilling hamburgers and giving them away. Free gasoline, free propane, everything you need. And zero of this came from FEMA. This came from the hearts of real great Americans. And we don't give a crap who gets the credit. The facts are, from the man right here on the ground that's been running donations back and forth, we've given away all kinds of stuff here from everybody that supported us, dropped it off in Johnson City, Tennessee. We've given away propane, cash, gas.
We're at the airport again. Well, we're at the airport today. Yesterday, they ran like 30-something planes, a bunch of trips up to Western North Carolina, Asheville, that whole area, wherever they can land and drop off supplies. And FEMA has flown in like 10 or more helicopters and blocked a runway here at Greenville downtown, completely took over, or almost took over the operation, just because they're doing some good here. FEMA's going to come here and try to stop it. And they took over one of the hangars over here too. We'll show you as much as we can. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay, here's the helicopters that are blocking one of the runways here at Greenville downtown.
Man, they lined up.
All flown in by FEMA helicopter pilots. And they're just sitting there doing nothing. And you have Greenville Aviation over here taking in all kind of supplies, everything that people want to drop off. There's a huge operation going on over here. Yesterday, we ran about 30-something planes, or they did. I didn't fly anything, but just putting stuff in planes, taking it up to Asheville and other areas, and they came in and halted. FEMA came in and halted all that operation. And there they are, just sitting over there doing nothing. When there's thousands of pounds of supplies over there that could be taken, they're just sitting there doing nothing and blocking the runway with however many helicopters.
Now, people will call these particular areas that got hit sundown towns. I know it's a lot of so-called black people. I'm going to call you Niji. So-called black people that are saying, hey, let's not worry about that. These are so-called sundown towns. I'm going to tell you right now, my wife and I used to live in Asheville, North Carolina, up in the mountains a few years ago. And I could tell you right now, Niji do live there. I did an entire documentary on Asheville, North Carolina, letting you know what happened the very first time when they were trying to run the Niji up out of there. But again, this is another way to remove one of our sacred land masses where people would come over there to heal. It's a healing area. This is a spiritual area for the indigenous people of this landmass, especially. I'm referring to the Niji. It's upsetting to see that they basically wiped that away by hydraulics, mainly. According to my wife, what they did was they ran the water up the mountain by pumping it up the mountain. And I was upset because when I was hearing this, and I'm probably going to share this with the members on the channel, you guys are going to get that exclusively when my wife and I are going back and forth speaking with each other about what happened. And she got into the logistics of how they were able to break these dams. It's multiple dams. And I'm trying to remember the number. It's between 80 to 90 dams in Asheville, North Carolina alone. And you would think, because I know everybody, including myself, like, how did the hurricane reach up that high? See, like we were 4,700 feet up, and certain people could have been 2,700 feet up, or, I mean, all of it is a mountain, but you could continuously go higher and higher in this location. Yeah, and it's very dangerous as far as the roads are concerned, but it wasn't something that they couldn't handle, that they weren't used to. Like this hurricane, for example, would have been, and it was something that they were not used to and could not handle, were not prepared for. I'm not trying to point the blame on anybody, but at the same time, you could tell that this wasn't a natural occurrence. It's not going to happen that way, as if it was directed and you just wiped all of Asheville away like that, including all of the people. Yes, my wife and I, we have family down there. And again, we used to live down there years ago. So I can tell y'all, I understand the reasons why you're calling that sundown town and blah, 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 blah. And y'all thinking, oh, wow, well, forget it. They just getting rid of white people. No, they got rid of a lot of Niji also. And this shouldn't be about a race thing neither. Like, people out there trying to make it seem like this has all to do with race. No. When the government wants something, they don't care what your skin complexion is. I keep telling you that. When they want something done and they want to remove those people that are in the inner cities to the outskirts, and that's a part of their so-called population control, people be like, well, because that's a conspiracy theory, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but okay. How many people died in Asheville, North Carolina alone? You're not going to know. But I can tell you, like I said in my last video, that it was 95,000 people, 216 people in Asheville as of 2024. They're not even showing y'all all of Asheville. The visuals that you guys see is not all of Asheville, like how my wife and I know it. There's thousands of people out there. And it's more than a couple hundred that lost their lives. Unfortunately, this could have been prevented, but at the same time, we could tell that this was man-made, man. We could tell that this was man-made. There's some greedy people out there. And what my wife pointed out at the end of the video that we did on this, take a look at that. I want y'all to take a look at that. Look at the connection to Bank of America with this whole entire situation. Now, I know a lot of y'all are talking about what they probably did that because it was lithium up under that ground. Keep in mind, they still have to schedule the excavations for that to happen. They don't know if it is or not yet. That's not confirmed. They just chose parts of Tennessee and parts of North Carolina and South Carolina as excavation sites, future excavation sites, because they're assuming that lithium is up underground. It hasn't been tested. But let's just say that it is, though, right? Who's going to be funding that? We could easily point at the government, but again, the way my wife showed you guys, I want you guys to take a look at Bank of America. And recently here, we could recall that Bank of America had an outage, right? Showed everybody's account. I don't have Bank of America, but this was reported. You guys should recall this. For all people that had accounts with Bank of America, their accounts said zero. It was glitched. Nobody had any money in their bank. And look, and it got so bad to the point where they kept, apparently Bank of America has a section where they show the individual account holders how much debt that they're in. Those numbers stayed the same. But the funds that you have, that you're able to pull out, was zero. And they said it's a glitch. I'm sure they probably got it fixed by now, but I'm just saying. There's a lot of these, things are glitching. Verizon, a lot of y'all had a lot of problems with Verizon. Communication, the largest communication company that's out there is Verizon. Y'all couldn't do anything. It was stuck on the SOS screen, right? And you think all this not lining up, and then they got the nerve to call people like me that's thinking about stuff like that, putting two and two together. They call us conspiracy theorists, but okay. I'm pretty sure it's going to be some people out there that'll be like this and that and this and that, but I know I haven't been. When I see something going on, it ain't going to be no, oh, man, you know what, let me turn the other cheek and do something else about it. Let me blame it on the sun downtown. Let me blame it on something that has to deal with race. I'm not that type of person. See, keep in mind, if something, and God forbid it goes down, but if something go down, that's affecting everybody. No matter what your skin complexion is, man. No matter what your skin complexion is, that will affect everybody. At that point, I remember I played that video. Yeah, if you go back on the last video that we talked about this situation, that lady said that the police officer told her to keep that safety off because there's looters out there. People, meaning there's people on survival mode out there that are taking things that they don't have from other people that do have, that are out there vulnerable. And can't nobody get to them to help them, especially if they don't have no protection. They're going to do any and everything because they desperate, like she said. And could we blame them? Because what would you do if you were in a desperate situation like that? God forbid that happen to any of y'all, but I'm just saying. And then there's people out there that turn the other cheek that don't want to look at what happened and see what's happening. It's people on the ground telling you what's happening. And people turn their nose up like, I don't believe them. Oh, I need to see this. I need to see that. But name a time when your government hasn't lied to you. Talking about something they doing the job and helping people out. They putting people out there. Man, what? Come on, man. You believe them. Y'all better stop trying to make this Democrat or Republican. Yeah, it's all, look, it's political, but that ain't going to be political in your favor. Keep in mind, this government is not for its own people. If it was, billions of dollars went to Ukraine. What are billions of dollars at to the people that got affected by Hurricane Helene? I'll wait. But I ain't gonna hold y'all up. Kenny, what's good, fam? We're gonna get straight into this content, y'all. Let's get it.
We got high, heavy winds right now. The current is ridiculous. We're basically marching up a river. Tide is rising very quick. Very quick. It's getting hard to walk. Water's almost past the benches. It's up to my knees right now. Tampa General is doing well right now. It's a whole leg workout. Yeah, but yeah, it's a leg workout right here. Show them the bench. Look at the bench. Almost underwater. There's like fish nibbling at our feet. Keep in mind, full high tide doesn't come. Yeah, we got a couple hours till high tide. It's gonna rise another foot. Yeah, 2 feet. They said 8 feet. I don't know. Lieutenant Dan, prayers to him. He's taking a long nap, so we'll see him tomorrow. Yeah. Lieutenant Dan was in great spirits. Great spirits. He was not afraid of anything. And he said, "Get the fuck out and go be safe." Yep. So. But yeah, the water's rising. Probably should get out of here. Definitely not smart. Don't recommend this.
Right, he definitely should put some pants on. Tell y'all, man. Oh my God. But I know it ain't no laughing matter. It's crazy down there. I wonder if it's still like super intense and right now, at this very moment. I wonder what's going on and everything. I know it's gonna be a whole lot of damage. A lot of damages and everything. So that's gonna be crazy, man. My prayers and condolences and everything to everybody down there still. Cause I know it's crazy. What's up, Miss Lady T? Big Mac, what up with you? Dre, what up?
You guys are not going to believe this. This is your Day X World War III update. What does hurricane...
Oh, the hurricane haven't hit yet? Huh? I'm late. Museum. Soul Restorer, you said the hurricane haven't even hit yet? I thought it touched down. Oh, man. What's up, T?
Hurricane Milton have to do with World War III starting in the Middle East? Well, this hurricane and its relationship to the events unfolding between Israel and Iran is nothing short of uncanny. This is something that I did not expect and nobody could have expected. What you're seeing here is a projection of the hurricane's pathway as it gains in intensity. Right now, it's a Category 5. I believe it's still a Category 5. The intensity has somewhat lessened in the past 30 minutes, but it's expected.
Damn, y'all. So this whole time, I'm like, damn, I thought it didn't touch. So this whole time is just the pregame. All this rain and weather and the flooding that's going on right now, it's the pregame before it even hit. Oh, my God. Wow, wow, wow. And they telling people to evacuate. I seen that. They don't even have gas. Like, people getting stuck on the E-way trying to get out of there. Oh, man, it's crazy.
To make a direct hit. The eye of the storm is going to go right over Tampa. Well, what else is in Tampa? The home of U.S. Central Command. U.S. CENTCOM is what oversees all American and, let's face it, Israeli military operations in the Middle East. All of the support ships, the refueling vessels, the amphibious ready groups, the naval assets in the region, the missile defense, just everything, okay, is all controlled here. We are expecting 10 to 15 foot storm surges, okay? So a 10 to 15 foot storm surge, dead center, right around Central Command headquarters, is going to see that this facility, which is right here, you can see it. I don't see any big dams or levees. I mean, this runway, it's basically touching the ocean. This is a 3D view. It does not look, maybe it's like, I don't know, 20 feet or something. Like we're in a.
What? So the Central Command headquarters is right in the middle of where the hurricane finna hit down there in Tampa, y'all? Ain't that supposed to be like our defense, our military defense headquarters or something? Like it's, man.
3D view right now. I presume these trees are maybe 30, 40 feet high. Yeah, this is at sea level, basically, which is the dumbest possible thing you could do is build this facility there. I'm sure it's there because it's the closest to the Middle East as far as the crow flies, but it's a really dumb decision because now it's about to be destroyed. It's about to be destroyed by this hurricane. Never mind just the flooding.
And they talking about we close to a war and all this type of stuff, and our Central Command headquarters about to get destroyed down there. Oh man, not looking at it a whole different angle, man. This, I don't know, y'all. I don't know.
But we're talking about the fact that this facility, I'm not sure if it has its own independent power source. I presume it's hooked up to the Miami grid, whatever sort of, the Florida grid. Pardon my voice, guys. My kids keep bringing home illnesses from school, and I keep boosting my immunity in that respect. So getting ready for the next wave, the pestilence wave of SHTF that comes. But this is insane. So this.
I finally connected the dots. Peter Doocy asked Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, why they have immediate funding for Lebanon available, but they would have to call Congress back to get more money for FEMA to help North Carolinians. And she said, that is not true. We have $200 million in disaster loans. Keyword, disaster loans. That means it has to be paid back. And that's why she's saying they opted out of it. Of course they opted out of it because it's a loan that they don't need. Who wants to take out another loan to pay for something when we're giving money to Lebanon and illegals that don't have to pay it back? Why should Americans have to take out a loan?
I definitely don't understand that. Like right now, we got all these disasters going on, like in the Carolinas, all that. They don't even have enough money for the Carolinas. Then this stuff gonna happen down in Florida. It's gonna be a disaster down there. If they ain't got no money for the Carolinas, they ain't gonna have no money for Florida. But we got all this money. I'm talking about trillions, billions, trillions of dollars to send over to Lebanon and other places and everything, but we ain't got no money for our own people. And then they talking about loans. They giving people a little money, a little couple dollars, I guess, for them to make it 30 minutes or an hour. And they got to pay that back. If not, then they get to taking shit from them, man. It's crazy, y'all. It's crazy out here. Super crazy. What's up, baby cakes? Truth lady, everybody in the building, man. Salute to y'all.
Why isn't that $200 million free to Americans? That's the question. And she couldn't answer it. Does she realize that a loan has to be paid back? Why are we always second to everyone else? Stop lying.
To Congress that there's not enough money to help people.
We're
in North
talking
Carolina
about the SBA disaster loan.
That's money for people in North Carolina.
And that's important.
Hey, it's Glamham. You've heard about the people in Florida whose cars won't start. This lady wrote to me and said it's happened before and that even her oven wouldn't work after a storm. And I've seen people saying that they can't even get their paychecks. Additionally, this is the GPS jamming map. Not surprisingly, you can see GPS jamming where there's wars happening. But why was this part of the US having GPS jamming? Tried to overlay a map. It was kind of tricky, but there's the area. If this means something to anybody, let me know. And there's the dates that the GPS jamming was happening, which has been during Hurricane Helene. I also put up a video.
And they GPS jamming down there too. They jamming the technology down there and everything during the hurricane. I seen videos of people talking about their cars wouldn't start, their electric cars wouldn't start, and all this type of stuff. Like, man, like, what is it? A war against us? Is our own? Is they? I'm not understanding all this, man. This shit crazy, y'all. What's up, Jen S? Sassy? Like, I don't understand all this, y'all. I don't understand it. This shit crazy to me.
About a very unusual plane patterning that was happening prior to Hurricane Helene. And just the very creepy area that it happened to be. I don't know. Is it possible? Surveillance, you would think, would be one pass. This was multiple passes. Is it possible they were putting something to prevent anything? For example, could they have been putting something up there to draw the storm away from the town? My last video, I showed the plane pattern going around Florida, and today we have the plane going into the eye of the hurricane. And again, it's a P3. It's not the same P3, but it's a P3. NASA's P3 is heavily modified for weather activities.
As you can see on the calendar, on September the 9th, this exact aircraft was supposed to be taking part in EIDS, but instead it was here.
This is a NOAA P3. It's flying under NOAA. And here's another weird thing. Why is it going dark during this part of the mission? There's stuff that you need to look up right now because I can't say it or my video will get a strike. You need to look up NOAA 70th anniversary hurricane. Okay, see you in the comments. Take care.
I'm gonna have to look that up. NOAA. I'm gonna have to look that up, y'all. But this shit is crazy. Like, super crazy. This is a sign. Like, I just seen somebody just said, like, how Miss Lady T, she said, how do you fight weather? Ain't no way we can fight it. I mean, get to some shelter or something, but like they done came up with the weather modification and manipulation and everything, and I mean they winning right now. Like they can turn that motherfucker on at any time and erase a good percentage of the population at any time. Because what can we do? I mean, I know one thing we can do with all this bullshit going on. They ain't giving like the cities no money, the states no money, because they're talking about they ain't got no money, but they sending all this money to Lebanon. But we paying taxes every day, and this tax they're supposed to be for like if anything, we supposed to be able to give people some help and everything. We paying all these taxes. Everybody needs to be like, man, fuck that. We ain't paying no taxes or nothing that. Especially while these hurricanes going on. Nah, we ain't paying no more taxes or nothing. We done with that. Till y'all start helping us and acting like y'all with us and not against us, we ain't paying shit. And really, we everybody just needs to just like fucking just stay home. What they gonna do? Just fire everybody from their jobs and cut off all the energy and power at everybody's house and everything. But it'll take all of us. But let's keep it going, y'all. What's up, Jennifer? My bad. What's up, Jax?
A very stressful and potentially dangerous situation unfolding here in the Tampa Bay area. This is St. Petersburg. This is just a small slice of traffic. Cars are backed up on all the arteries out of the Tampa Bay area as people are a part of a mass evacuation ahead of Hurricane Milton, a very dangerous major hurricane in the Gulf heading right this way. And this is what they're coming across, gas stations without any gas.
Wow.
This is all wrapped up with saran wrap, all of these pumps.
Oh,
what that does
it's a play. They telling everybody to evacuate, but ain't no gas. Like, and then they know everybody ain't gonna be able to evacuate. Because what about people that like some of these cars probably running out of gas on the E-way, and they backing the E-way all the way up. So, like, man, oh my God.
That protects the screens, the electronics from the hurricane force-driven winds, and they also have the nozzles zip tied to the machines so they don't flop around in the wind as well. But they have these wrapped up a couple of days ahead of any potential impacts from Milton because they do not expect any more gas deliveries at this station. And that, again, is bad news as you have so many cars trying to head out of the area, trying to escape the path and the fury of what potentially could be the most dangerous hurricane to ever hit this part of Florida.
As contractors, are you going to be able to make it out? Because right now traffic it's a standstill.
I'm not leaving. I'll leave at 2:30 in the morning. I'll leave at 2:33 in the morning because all this will kind of die down, but we don't have diesel. So every time I come down here, they already kind of know because we do so much cat work. I normally travel with at least 20 gallons. I brought this from Atlanta. I didn't just try to hoard gas. So we always come down with at least enough diesel to get back home or at least to get back over the line, no matter where.
Smart man. Prior planning. Prevent poor performance. You know what I'm saying? He had planned and had some gas. He got him some gas already on deck. But this is crazy. And museum, yeah, I do realize it's definitely more of us. But at the moment, it's not more of us that's going to come together and do what we need to do as a collective to go against these motherfuckers. You feel me?
I'm not saying that the government created Hurricane Helene. What I am saying is that the government has been manipulating the weather since 1947. What first caught my attention with Helene was the shift in the storm's projected path. One day, it looked like it would hit my town. The next day, it had shifted east. I then noticed an odd flight path of NOAA 42, the aircraft being flown, a Lockheed Martin Orion P-3. This prompted me to look at previous uses for the P-3, where I discovered that they were used in the 1960s to manipulate Hurricane Camille in a, quote, weather war on Cuba. Now, I know this sounds out there, but as we begin to see more and more the terrible things our government has done in the past, is it really so far-fetched? Here are the projections from the 23rd of September. A large spread traveling the Alabama-Georgia line and ending up in Illinois. On the 24th, projections shift slightly east, and the storm is projected to finish in Indiana. On the morning of the 25th, the path shifts back west and shows to be finishing in western Kentucky. That evening, a P-3 conducts a 6-hour operation inside the developing storm. The next morning, on the 26th, the path shows to have shifted slightly east again, now finishing in northwestern Tennessee.
And he talking about Hurricane Helene. That already happened. People still trying to bounce back from that one, and we getting hit again. You feel me? Like, it's crazy. And right there, like, it's documented. It's documented. Like, they said, like, they was modifying the weather, like, basically for war strategy or war or something back in the day, and they was using it. Like, it's known. Like, it's out here. Everybody know. So it's like, it's not no secret. Like, at first I was kind of scared to put that in the title, weather manipulation since 1947 and everything. I'm like, man, they might get to messing with me, but it's out there. Like, what? I mean, they can't lie to us no more, man. It didn't happen. It's happening. And I'm sure that they still using these same tactics. Shit crazy. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Let's get this algorithm together. Let's keep it going, y'all. Let's keep it going. Right, Taylor. I'm finna just move off the planet, man. When the aliens come, I'm gonna ask the aliens, like, hey, can I go back? Where y'all going, man? I'm trying to head back wherever y'all at, man. It's crazy over here.
To steer and control hurricanes and tornadoes? Yes, this is very real and it's backed by sources, as well as our own NOAA website, which discusses weather manipulation and what steps you or I would have to take in order to do our own weather manipulation. My friends, this is no joke. Many people believe that weather manipulation was used for Hurricane Helene, then somehow coincidentally stalled over the rare lithium producing towns of Western and North Carolina, which is the exact location of the largest lithium deposit we have in the United States. Now, something to keep in mind while moving forward, ever since we left Afghanistan, we have lost the ability to mine lithium there, where most of it used to come from. Now we are stuck having to fill this insane demand we have for this lithium right here in the United States. Once again, the largest deposit being right over the towns that just got completely destroyed by this hurricane.
Climate weapons. Y'all seen that? That's all a list of the weather modification patents right there, y'all. Whole bunch of them. Like all these damn patents and everything. Like, man, come on now, man. This ain't no secret no more. This ain't nothing to be trying to beat around the bush with or act like we don't think it's going on. Like, oh, allegedly. No, this ain't no fucking allegedly. This is really happening. Now, I'm not saying that every hurricane or earthquake, whatever, they deliberately doing every one. I don't know. But with all this evidence and everything, it's a possibility.
It's just categorically false. It is not true. It is a false statement. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
Man, you see how they just be lying to us right in front of our face. You see how she just contradicted. Let me rewind that, y'all. Let me rewind that. Maybe y'all didn't listen. Listen to what she say, y'all. That might have went over y'all head. She just contradicted herself from 2 years ago. She said, look at this.
It's not true. It is a false statement. No, Biden did not take FEMA relief money to use on migrants. Funding is also available through FEMA's emergency food and shelter program to eligible local governments and non-for-profit organizations upon request to support humanitarian relief for migrants.
If you haven't heard about this yet, people are now starting to hear these really scary and loud noises all across the sky, all over the world, but scientists still do not know what they are. So these bizarre skyquakes are being heard around the world, but scientists have yet to uncover what they are. I'm going to show you the full video in just a minute so you can hear it for yourself, but they're saying that there's a lot of potential theories to what is going on, but there's not a definitive answer, so nobody knows. Scientists have considered that the booms may be meteors exploding in the atmosphere, military testing, or even related to storms or earthquakes. However, people are hearing it without storms or earthquakes. Even though everybody's calling these skyquakes right now, seismologists are unsure whether tectonic activity and these sounds are even linked in the first place. And then if you want to hear what I'm talking about, this is the video.
Strange sounds are being heard around the world. In Sweden, this sure sounds like a trumpet. In Michigan, another trumpet-like sound.
Man, that's crazy, y'all. I definitely don't want to hear none of that shit. I ain't never heard nothing like that. Only back in the day when I was younger and staying in Michigan. They used to, the tornado sirens would go off or something like that, or thunderstorm coming, like the warning, the sirens will go off in the town, you can hear. But this is crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if they doing those sounds, they self somehow, some way, trying to instill that fear in everybody. You feel me? They talking about skyquakes and all this type of stuff. Man, I don't know, man. That's too much going on, man.
Obviously, like I said, scientists have not been able to figure out what exactly that is yet, but I will keep you updated. So make sure you add me and come back.
I don't see nothing. What are we looking at? Like, they said what's going on in LA. Like, I don't see nothing. I don't know what. Oh, I hear it. I hear it. I hear it. Wow. Sound like some shit blowing up or something. What's up, Shayla?
How could they ask?
I don't know what that is, but I wouldn't be surprised if they like that was like some military training or something, and they shooting off some shit or something somewhere, and that was crazy, and it was loud.
Ask Kamala Harris the most straightforward question. Like, what's great about America and why do you love it? And she still circumvents the question with a bunch of word salad and essentially gives a non-answer.
What is it that is, to coin a phrase, great about America and that kindles your love for it?
There's so much. There's so much. And you're right. And I have the blessing and privilege of traveling all over our country. And in particular, in these years where we have witnessed so-called leaders attempting to create division between us, I meet people who are just the people who are the ones who are the most optimistic about what is possible, who believe in each other, who understand that we all have so much more in common than what separates.
Man, she didn't even answer the question. Listen, y'all. Listen. I ain't trying to swing nobody to, like somebody go one way, go blue or go red, one way or the other way, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know I like Trump, you know what I'm saying? Especially over her. I just don't get it. I don't have a good energy about her. Like, she don't never know what she's talking about. She don't have no idea about policies and what she's trying to do. She don't have no plan or nothing. I don't think she's the brightest. And I think she's a good actress. Like, it's something about her. Like, I'm like, nah, I don't want to see her in there. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have Trump in there, man. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. That's just me. That's just me. My opinion. Don't get mad at me.
I don't know about y'all, but it's difficult for me to trust a person that just can't answer simple questions.
Y'all, what the hell is going on over there in Marshall? Flood zone. I saw a video of a man saying how these folks' boots is melting. They need protective gear just to walk around. And I'm assuming it's coming from that bad hurricane off up in North Carolina. Now, I ain't the smartest woman in the world, but to me, it sounds like the government got something to do with it. I don't know. And for TikTok, this is just a skit. None of this shit that I'm saying is true. But y'all, can y'all tell me what's going on? Like, is there anybody that can enlighten me on what's going on? Because, I need to know if this is true. And if this is true, why ain't nobody doing nothing about it? Why this shit ain't on the news? Why ain't nobody talking about it? Y'all know I don't like to spread false information, but I saw another video on this, and I want to know if these are facts. Y'all drop y'all thoughts in the comments and let me know what's going on, and let me know what you think it is. Population control. But yeah. But y'all ain't heard that from me.
That's crazy. They said people like boots is melting when they stepping into this mud and everything out there. I don't know how true it is either, but that's crazy. That's a crazy story. Ain't no telling what they doing. Right. I got you another face. I am. I'm gonna look into it. I got you for sure. And y'all, guess what? I seen the moon. The moon right here, y'all, right in front of the window. I ain't never seen the moon like right here in front of this window. It usually be back this way. Like, I usually see it on which way is that? That's east. I usually see it over here behind it, but out the window, the moon right here. And this is my first night seeing it. Like, I haven't been seeing it either. So it's just a lot going on, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Let's keep it going, y'all.
The following video is from a man named Edwards out of Georgia. He captured this today, October 5th, 2024. And honestly, you're going to have to decide for yourself if you believe Bigfoot really exists and if this is, once again, proof. He was out in the backcountry when he saw 2 military-grade helicopters carrying a Bigfoot away. Now, he's driving as he's filming. It's hard to see. I have zoomed in. It's still hard to determine, but it's something that they're carrying, and it's something something extremely large that it requires 2 helicopters. Could this truly be a Bigfoot being carted away by our military? Also, I want to make note about the man who filmed this. He's not into the paranormal. He's not a Bigfoot hunter. He's a regular man who actually just posts about fishing and hunting and just everyday or outdoorsy type stuff. Since he's posted this, he's not posted anything else, which is a red flag, unfortunately. And red flag meaning he could have been visited by somebody.
Hey, I don't know if that's Bigfoot or not, but I would imagine, like, if that was the military, like, carrying Bigfoot and hovering him over that little area, trying to take him somewhere or something, they would have did it in a more discreet manner. They would have motherfucking somehow, some way, got him and put him in or something. They wouldn't be carrying him around so everybody, just like my man, just film with his phone, like, oh, they got big. Like, I don't know. It's so far away, I can't really tell what it is, but they carrying something.
And told to be quiet. Take a look at this and tell me what you think.
End of the road, turn right. They got Bigfoot. Found him down here in Georgia. Got him dragging him with that helicopter. Wonder where they're taking him. End of the road, turn right. They got Bigfoot. Found him down.
Man, we can't tell what that is, y'all. Like, I don't know. The first thing he said when he seen it was like, they got Bigfoot, y'all. Like, he ain't even see it that good. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Godzilla, what's up, fam?
Here in Georgia. Okay. Dragging him. The helicopter.
And then if it was Bigfoot, like, shit, what is he, dead or something? Or because if he was alive, I'm sure he'd be on there trying to move around, all type of crazy stuff and everything. Like, I don't know, man. That might just be like a stone that they moving to another area or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Wonder what they're taking.
Call me dumb, yeah, but I don't understand how this works. So this is below, and there's buildings and houses, then there's a bridge. And on this bridge, there's buildings and houses on top. So are the buildings built on the bridge?
The mud flood, many say, was a deliberate attempt to wipe out Tartaria from history, hiding their advanced technology and knowledge. During the early 19th century, strange events were reported worldwide. Cities were being dug out from layers of mud and debris. Buildings were being revealed that were covered to their rooftops in mud. A global cataclysmic event buried entire civilizations, erasing them from history. But here is where it gets rather unsettling. The Tartarian Empire, an empire often depicted in old maps, was an advanced civilization that existed across Europe and Asia. They built architectural marvels, had access to advanced technology, and were able to harness energy from the atmosphere.
Who were the Tartarians? The official history is hiding a major world power which existed as late as the 19th century. Tartary was a country with its own flag, its own government, and its own place on the map. Its territory covered most of the modern world we know today, yet somehow it was ever so quietly incorporated into Russia and some other countries.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Like, I'm so fond and curious and interested into the Tartarian Empire and the mud floods and the reset and all that type of stuff. Like, I'm so, like, I just want some. And I mean, like from some of the stuff we see and everything, some of these structures out here and everything, I believe, like, yeah, you know, it was around. They did build some of these things and everything, but what be getting me is like they talking about these world fairs when they built up these things just to destroy them for the world fairs and all that type of stuff. Like, it's crazy to me. And I'm not saying it didn't happen, but you know, I got to do some more research, do some more videos on it, look into it some more and some more. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Elaine? Let's keep it going, though, y'all. Let's keep it going. Son of God, what up with you, fam?
What the heck is that? Just out of nowhere, something started smoking in our car.
Oh, y'all know what? Y'all know what? My bad for stopping it too. Y'all know I like to talk, but look, I just seen a video when they said it was dry ice falling down there in Florida and everything. Like it's something they didn't put into the clouds and it's dry ice falling and everything. I just seen a lot of videos. I'll probably put it in the stream tomorrow or something. But maybe this is exactly what it is right here. Maybe that's exactly what they're talking about. Felicia, what's up?
I can't tell if it's going out. Is it going out? It's not going out.
Juanita. Yeah, I think that's that dry ice like smoke though. That ain't like no fire smoke. Y'all know how the dry ice be smoking when you look at it and everything. I'm thinking maybe that's it. Maybe they was on some, you know what I'm saying, some cloud seeding type shit down there, or whatever, and that's exactly what it is. I don't know though. I don't know. Allegedly.
Down lane again. I'm going out there. I am going out there. I can't stand it. I gotta know what it is. Oh, this grass. This grass is so bad.
Huh? But you can see the smoke, right? All right. Would you get away from that?
What is it?
All right. I'll see you when you get in.
Crazy.
So we got Hurricane Milton, Leslie, and Kirk, all active in the Atlantic Ocean, which is exactly where
Leslie and Kirk. Huh? There's some more hurricanes coming after the Milton one? I ain't heard about no Hurricane Leslie and no Kirk. Man, come on now. I'm about to look into that.
we're dumping a lot of our oils and creating this pot of boiling water, which is causing these horrific hurricanes. When on earth have we ever had 3 active hurricanes going on at the same time?
What?
When has it been this bad? When was the last time it went this far inland? 300 plus miles inland. And people aren't freaking out about this, right? It's crazy.
Oh yeah, man. They definitely doing something, man. They definitely modifying and manipulating the weather, y'all. It's a fact because come on now, 3 of them, and we in what, October? Damn near in the middle of October. Like ain't hurricane season supposed to be over with? Like you mean to tell me it's 3 of them coming? One just Helen, whatever, Helene just passed. So 4 in a matter of a few weeks apart from each other.
I know I get on here, I talk about conspiracies. This ain't no conspiracy, bro. I got 2 real big fears. It is the ocean imploding on us, and it's a meteor that we can't stop. These are my 2 biggest fears. Anything else, I believe I can actually beat. Everything, those 2 things, you can't beat nature, bro. I can't beat nature. So I need y'all help to spread awareness with this global problem that we're having right now. And right now, specifically off of the coast of the Atlantic Ocean, dog. We need to actually look into this, bro. Listen, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it was turn back now. We can prevent losses. Now we're at a point where you're going to take losses. We just don't know how many people we're going to lose.
And he said it's from them dumping oil into the water, and it got so hot it's like a boiling pot and everything. I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? I definitely don't believe that. You know, I don't know. Maybe they got to him and wanted him to say that type of stuff. So I don't know. But to me, my opinion, they in the office pressing the button, getting that motherfucker rolling. Like, yeah, we go send Helene, we go send Milton, then we go come back with Leslie, we go come back with Kurt. I'm gonna let y'all know when to press the button and send it on off. Like, that's what I think was going on, my opinion. Allegedly. Let's keep it going, though.
But if we can turn back now, everybody ain't got to be destroyed. That's what I'm telling you. Like, all you got to do is look into what this global warming thing is. This is a real thing. This is an actual real problem. Kirk, Milton, and what was that third one? It's Kirk, Hurricane Milton, and Leslie. We need to be paying attention to this, y'all.
Listen and listen very carefully.
Right, Chosen.
HARP is RHF, UHF radio frequencies. Your TVs used to be RHF, UHF radio frequencies. They changed your TV frequency for a reason, because maybe it can block something. Are you understanding what I'm saying, people? If you want to win, we need old TVs, antennas, RHF, UHF, radio frequencies. Power them up, people.
Hey, just like Chosen said, y'all, with all this going on, it's all tactics. Like, it's all a play. Well, it's what I think. You know, so I'm pretty sure others think the same, but we can't be stressed, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We can't be stressed with all the shit going on. Like you said, stressing everybody out, everybody getting depressed, and it's almost like an energy harvesting type thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and I mean, I know it's just words, but you got to stay positive and kind of try to keep good energy and stay positive and vibrating on some high frequencies during this time. You know what I'm saying? With all this crazy stuff going on, you like, I know we can't just turn our head and act like it's not happening, because it's happening, but somehow, some way, figure it out. Just stay positive, y'all. Stay on wave. Don't let all this shit get to you, because it will. Because it's been getting to me. Looking at all these videos, I'm like, man, like, I'm tripping. I'm like, man, it stressed you out because you want to do something. Like, I want to do something. Like, man, y'all need to quit doing this shit, but it's tough out here, y'all. Let's keep it going. Y'all.
My friend Emmanuel from Ohio recorded this yesterday.
Time was at 7:23 p.m. I went out that night to search for the moon in the sky.
You have been wondering where the fuck is the moon, right?
Look, what I found, finally.
Yeah. But wait. Something is weird. Did you see that star close to the moon?
Also, the sun set directly. Where is the arrow at?
Where's the arrow? sunset, the sun.
Keep it watching until the end.
All right.
Time was at 7:33 p.m. That's east directly at the camera. Pause here. Got more stars, got bright.
God, Mars, that is good, right?
That's west directly at the camera.
Look at that. What if I tell you that that's a spaceship?
It's about to get more interesting.
Watch to the end.
What's gonna happen? It's gonna disappear or something?
Look at the moon.
Time was at 7:37 p.m.
Look how fast it happened.
Hold on. 7:37 p.m. So the moon going down? Shouldn't it be going up?
Notice the moon was going down.
Yeah.
I thought the moon rise up.
Yeah.
Plus, the sky was so clear too. Watch the moon until the end.
I have been noticing the sky purple. Gorgeousness purple lately. Haven't you? And the moon keeps going down. This spaceship over there. They're gonna tell you it's Project Blue Being, a bunch of shit, but come on, wake up.
That motherfucker going down? Hold on. Nah, I know it go okay. The moon goes down on the west. But what I'm saying is this is at 7:30 p.m. So the moon, should the moon be going down at 7:30 p.m.? Shouldn't the moon be going up? Like, shouldn't it be going down like towards the morning or something? And then sometimes it don't even go down. Like I look in the sky, sometimes the sun and the moon be out there down there at noon when I'm in the middle of the day. Man, I'm confused, man. I'm confused.
And it keeps going down, down, down.
I'm confused, y'all.
And the moon is gonna disappear again. And don't tell me this is natural. All of this is weird. All of this is weird. Okay? This is not conspiracy theory anymore. It's weird.
Right. This is crazy.
Like the moon rises, don't go down.
What? So we just watched it go down. This video ain't nothing but about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes long. And y'all see the moon and disappear. It's gone now. And this was at 7:30 p.m. Like, I don't understand that. Like, they got me on that one. They got me.
So yesterday I was driving on the highway, headed back home from work, and I watched the moon disappear in front of my eyes, y'all. This is no joke. This is no scheme. Look at this.
That don't even look like a moon. Like, at this point, we don't even know if that's the moon up there, y'all. They might be putting some shit up there, tricking us, man. Yeah, I won't put it past them. They've been tricked us all these years, our whole life and everything, lying like a motherfucker. So I don't know.
Is that right there anyway in front of the moon? It's something that was eclipsing it as I was watching it. And I couldn't get all the best footage because I was on the highway driving, so I didn't want to wreck or anything. But look how this disappeared in front of our eyes, y'all. It's a line right there in the middle of the moon, and that's literally the moon. So I'm trying to figure out what's going through the moon, what's covering it up, how the hell it could even disappear. Why was it on the southwest side and not going towards the east? Is another question, but I couldn't find it nowhere in the sky after that. So this is me looking for it, and I got the hell out of there. This shit is crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. Cause I haven't been seeing the moon either. I ain't been sitting here in front, but today it's out here. Let me make sure it's by itself too. Make sure ain't no. Yeah, he out here. He out here today. It's out there, but I haven't been seeing it either. So I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know, y'all. There's so much shit going on. They messing with the moon, hurricanes, earthquakes, food, motherfucking, everything, man. Money, inflation, UFOs, World War III. Hey, man, I don't know, y'all. We got a few more videos, though. Let's keep it going, though. Let's keep it going, y'all.
Very carefully. HARP is RHF, UHF radio frequencies.
I seen
share that preliminary report with the public. The findings are that employees were told to leave the plant at least 45 minutes before the gigantic force of the flood hit the industrial park.
45 minutes.
Right.
45 minutes before the flood hit the industrial park. Sir,
45 minutes ain't enough time to get people out of there.
That is not how floods happen. That is not how water works. Okay? You need much more than 45 minutes. What should I tell them, guys? Like the streets that they need to leave on, like they're already flooded. 45 minutes? That'll do. Yeah, 45. 45 is good, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 45.
To our knowledge, no one perished while on company property. The company will cooperate fully with the inquiries from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
That's the only reason he dropped this motherfucking little press conference or little statement, because he want people to know, hey, ain't nobody passed away on our property. He trying to avoid a lawsuit. Talking about he let people go 45 minutes before the floods hit. Man. Yeah, it's a cold world out here, y'all. It's a cold world. And the evil, man, the evil motherfuckers, they winning. They winning right now. The evil motherfuckers winning. I ain't gonna sit here and lie, y'all. The evil winning right now.
And the Tennessee Occupation and Health Administration in days ahead.
Nobody perished on company property. That's why you made this video, so that it is harder for these families to sue your ass.
Right.
How incredibly disingenuous. Yeah, we can release a statement. No, we can't apologize. Yeah, we know it's our fault that they died. We can't apologize, though. No. Liability? You can throw that out the door. Holy shit. This man is not sorry. He does not feel bad. He came on here to make a statement. Specifically, I feel like the one where people didn't pass away on company property. So, yeah, because they died downstream, with other parts of the company. It's so disingenuous. It's sickening. It's so gross.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. He gonna say, yeah, nobody perished on our property. Like, why would you even say that, man? Like, come on now. Motherfuckers probably got right off the property, went right up the street, and might have been unalived or something. Not even a mile from the property or something. Like, some of these people, man, this shit crazy out here, y'all.
Andrew Johnson, you can miss me with that one, partner. You do not represent the black man or the black community. We watch you play ball. That's all you are to us, is a ball player. Just like many of you actors and stars and whoever the hell you are. We just get entertained by you. But you thinking you giving us political advice? Yeah, you can miss us with that one. Because I'm going to tell you something. With your son, daughter, whatever you want to call them, that's y'all preference. But I understand that having the Democrat Party in there helps your child's movement. But we want something more and something better for the people here. We want, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm not saying go back to the old ways, but damn it, some of the old ways need to come back. Because it was much better in this country when the agenda was not pushed on children so hard as it is now for this diversity.
Frank, what
for
up?
our children to have to go to school and suffer these things they have to suffer, get in sports and have to compete against people they shouldn't be competing against. I'm going to throw something in there that a lot of people have forgotten as well. The Epstein list. We're so focused on Diddy and his list with these teenage kids or whatnot. Yes, he got to go down, and everyone that was a part of it do. But let's not forget Epstein. Those were babies. Those were very, very young children. And we need something done about that shit. Bring it back to the table. Oprah, they forget about you. Of course not. You open that school in Africa. Why? Why did you really do it?
Right.
I do hear, or I might be wrong, but some of those girls came up missing.
Man, y'all know what? I'm gonna have to do a stream about that. I seen some videos about that school that Oprah opened in Africa and everything, and they said like it was a lot of child, T-word trafficking going on. I'm not sure. Allegedly, let me say that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know Oprah got some power. She'll see this shit, shut it down. But yeah, it's crazy,
What is your part in all of this? No, my people, don't get it twisted. Ain't nothing for us in no type of way. They're out there having the time of their lives with our babies, just like they plan on sending our babies to a war that they created. These hurricanes that are devastating our people in the South. Is it a coincidence that Helene went through and wiped out all the states right outside of Florida? Then all of a sudden, here come the one to just wipe Florida completely out.
Right.
Where those people have no way to get there. I'm gonna say have no way to get there, but they can't go to the states next to them.
Right.
So now they have to travel further. No gas, some no transportation.
And then they said they grounded like all flights. They suspended the flights and everything. There wasn't no flights or nothing. So how do they expect people like? And then the areas around it is all fucked up. Like what they expect people? Where they expect people to go?
The manipulation that you have pulled, that the government has pulled over us for all these years, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's coming to a halt. People are waking up, and now it's our time. And I say this strongly: it's our time to stand up, take back this damn country, no matter what it takes for us to do it as a nation.
Hey, I know he with us. If we came together and we like, yeah, we finna go ahead and do this shit, I know he'll be on board. All his messages be like, hey, let's do it, y'all. Let's make it happen. And Jennifer, yeah, I seen that. We on the stream yesterday. We had that on there when the lady asked Alexa about Hurricane Milton, and she already had the results and like the outcome of Hurricane Milton already on Alexa. She was explaining it, what happened, and it ain't even happened yet. Like I'm like, man, how? Yeah, crazy, crazy.
I saw this clip from a judge here on TikTok, and I went and researched this judge because I found it very interesting on the way he conducted himself on the stand. His name is David Fleischer. He's from Harris County, Texas, and he was elected in 2022 by just 3,000 votes with 1 million votes cast. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you the clips now.
Here's the rub. What's he doing? Walking while black? What's he doing? What's he doing wrong? Was he under arrest? I mean, all I see is that they go up to him and they just start searching, right?
I believe.
Walking while black. Wait. He did what?
It says he crossed an unauthorized crossing point. So I guess he crossed the street.
Is he jaywalking?
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor. And then
Walking while black.
and it says the officer.
Hey, I like that judge. You know what I'm saying? He's solid. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? He ain't on no colors and none of that. He knows a whole bunch of nonsense going on out here, man. Man, he know what's going on. We got to protect him. We need more judges like him.
Observed a strong odor of marijuana, and he was informed that the defendant had begun to walk backwards upon being asked about marijuana by another officer. A PC search was conducted, and the officer observed a large sack of marijuana.
I don't think so. Walking while black. I don't think so. I'm going to find no probable cause.
It's always nice to find a judge like David Fleischer
Hell yeah.
and identify the racism in his jurisdiction and rule against that racism. Like I said, he was elected.
And it takes some heart. It takes some big kahunas to do that. A lot of judges, they wouldn't have said that. They wouldn't have said nothing at all. They would have knew it's like some racism plant that's going on and everything, but they wouldn't have said shit. So salute to him, man. It ain't even enough of them. Salute to that man.
Did in 2022, and they serve a 4-year term, so he will be up for re-election in 2026. If you live in Harris County, Texas, you need to vote for this guy. The country needs more empathetic judges.
Right.
A little bit late, as I see we've got almost 4,200 people live with me in the room. These are the 14 states that are serviced by American Water that was hit by a cyber attack. And they believe at this time that the systems have not been compromised. They believe that the drinking water and the wastewater services are still okay, that the facilities are okay. They believe there's still an ongoing investigation at this time. So again, for those of you hopping on a little bit late, American Water Works cyber attack, water supplier says that its systems were hacked. Here are the 14 states that it services. A major U.S. water company hit by a cyber attack. American Water, the largest water utility in the U.S., is targeted in a cyber attack. The largest regulated water and wastewater utility company in the U.S. says it was victim of a cyber attack, prompting the firm to pause billing to customers. As I just read for you, American Water stops billing to H2O due to cybersecurity incident. They are saying the water is still safe to drink, which I think is.
I was just going to ask. It was a cyber attack, a water cyber attack. So it didn't affect the water physically. Like people still probably could drink it. It was like some computers, some digital computer shit, like, or it could have messed up some systems or something. Like, I don't know, some processing systems or something maybe got messed up or something. I don't know.
The number one question on people's minds. Is my water still safe to drink, even though this water company, the largest in the U.S., was hacked? They are confirming they believe so. They're saying they think that it is safe from their investigations so far. And in addition to that, the FBI warning, calamity by a keystroke, how the FBI copes with these mounting threats. They're saying they are diverse and constant and ever evolving.
So now they're throwing around the word misinformation. Well, was we misinformed when we heard what we heard directly from her mouth?
And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750.
And was we also misinformed when the director of FEMA, Mayorkas, came out and said what he said, or did he misspeak?
We are meeting the immediate needs with the money that we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season.
Now, since y'all want to say everything is so misinformation and misinformed, I just have a few questions. That's it. Is the critical needs payout of $750 only a one-time payout per household, not per person, and you would need to qualify, which also indicates that you may be denied?
Wow.
Just asking. I have another question. Did FEMA not designate funding of over $1 billion for an illegal migrant program called Shelter in Place in 2023 and 2024? Another question that I may be misinformed about. Did FEMA
not designate funding of about $685 billion for illegal migrants in an emergency food and shelter program under this administration?
So you mean to tell me they came up with $685 billion for the illegal migrants? $685 billion for the migrants? And they talk about we ain't got enough resources and money to help the families and people from the hurricanes of the American citizens?
I have another question, because we the people, we want to know. We don't want to be misinformed. Did the House and Senate, including Republicans, not pass the continuing appropriation bill, H.R. 9747, which provides more funding, but the disaster fund is still deficient, according to Mayorkas, because of mismanagement and possibly overspending? You know, that's the bill that y'all are running around and saying that the Republicans shot down or didn't pass. H.R. 9747. Go find it on congress.gov. Wait a minute, I thought of another one, because this may be the one that is misinformation. This is the one. Was there not testimony before the House Budget Committee estimating Americans paying over $150 billion annually to support illegal immigration? No, I got it. It's this one that's misinformed. It's this one. Have they not sent over $64 billion and counting to fund the Ukraine war? Dang, I forgot about this one too. I got a question about this one as well. This one probably is misinformed as well. Did they not send over $17 billion in aid to Israel since last October? And for my last question that I just may be misinformed about, this is the one. I'm misinformed, definitely, with this one. Did she not tweet a couple of days afterwards that she was deeply concerned about the security and well-being of the citizens of Lebanon and pledged a total of $157 million and bringing the support total of $385 million totally?
And that 385 M's to Lebanon, that just happened. Like that's recent. That's recent. Why the hurricanes and everything going on and people can't do nothing and shit over here. Like, yeah. Man, oh my God, man. This shit make this, hey, keep on. They go force the people. They gonna force the people. In a minute, people gonna be like, man, fuck that. They gonna start going crazy. It's gonna be chaos around this motherfucker. Watch. Cause that's ridiculous, y'all.
It gotta be that. And if you didn't catch what I said earlier, they're funding Israel and Lebanon, which Israel struck Lebanon.
Man. Y'all see how crooked we is. Well, I ain't gonna say we, but y'all see how crooked the elites in our government and the people in power are. They funding a war over there, but they funding both sides. We ain't nothing but the biggest instigators in the world, man. This shit crazy, man. This shit so crazy, y'all. Like, this right here just made me like, man, I don't want to even pay no taxes or nothing. I don't want to do nothing no more. I don't want to get no money to nothing. Like, I just want to go against the grain.
So no, we're not misinformed. Y'all just misunderstanding that $750 was never enough to give to American taxpayer citizens. So you can miss me on that.
That motherfucker look old right there. That look like an old model or something. They was trying something with that one and everything. I can't even focus on this UFO right now. Like, I ain't even thinking about this video because in my mind right now, I'm thinking about like, man, they gave up all these trillions and billions of dollars and everything to these other countries, to migrants, illegals and everything. But we can't get $750 to your own American citizens. And I think that's a household. And it ain't even guaranteed. You got to get approved for it. Like, man, oh my God, man.
No one knows why they hate Trump. No one. Everybody just knows that everybody else does. It's a trend. Does anybody know that he's the only man doing something about human trafficking survivors? No president has ever touched it before. Does anybody know that he's provided more jobs for the Black community than any president in history? Does anybody know that he doesn't give a I don't give a shit, and it doesn't matter about anybody's tax-paying money, but do you know that he's actually brought up bodies, children that have been rescued? I've been posting in my story every day. Do you think that I would have posted something if I didn't know what I was talking about? I don't just run my mouth. That's why people want to kill me. I don't just run my mouth. I don't have a line of people who would like me dead because I just talk bullshit. People are hilarious. But do you not see Biden sniffing children? That's not something that you see all the time.
Right.
You don't see him. You don't see the man like getting behind children, and then once he gets behind them, come, get the camera. I need an example. Get over here. Get over here. I'm sniffing you. That's not Biden. This is.
Yeah.
This is not Biden. Sorry, I groped you on camera. All right, I'll live.
Hey, that young lady right there, Allie Carter, she been speaking a lot online. I seen a video of her today crying and everything. I think she's finna take a break from online. She said she began death threats and all this type of stuff, but she said she was like, she was a victim as a child. And she was in like the Jay-Z Run This Town video when she was like a little kid and all this. And she was speaking on a whole bunch of different stuff and everything. But like at first people thought she was just, super crazy and just talking out the side of her head, whatever. But a lot of stuff that she's saying is hidden now. And even right there, when she talking about Trump and Biden, like I definitely seen all that shit Biden was doing. Biden be sniffing the little kids, like, hey, come here, playing with their hair and everything right there. I done seen it with their parents right there. I would have told Biden, like, man, if you don't get your fucking hands off my daughter, what the fuck you doing? Beat your old ass. Like, I seen it. You don't see my boy Trump doing all that. You know what I'm saying? And I know some of y'all don't like him. I know some of y'all gonna say, yeah, Trump was on the Epstein list and all this type of stuff and everything. I don't know. I know y'all gonna be saying all type of crazy stuff, but crazy world out there right now, y'all. The hurricanes and everything. And make sure y'all sending them prayers for everybody that's going through these terrible times right now. And condolences to people who have lost family members and people and friends and everything. And it's just hard times right now, y'all. But we got to stay on way. Take it day by day. Stay positive. Keep spreading that good energy. Keep spreading love. Keep vibrating those high frequencies and everything. And in the end, we will win. You feel me? But salute.
Infrastructure being targeted. We're now being told that all of the ship-to-shore cranes that are in our ports are produced mainly by the Chinese. And they're saying that now they are discovering that there are like modems built into these things that should not be there. They were not supposed to be there when they were contracted to build these things. And they're saying that they can remote access these cranes on our ports. You talk about shutting stuff down and causing chaos, especially in a time of war. So this is pretty crazy. Anything and everything the Chinese have built and made are going to fall under the microscope now, especially that we know that they can just blow devices up like Israel showed us, or like they showed us out of Lebanon, where certain things can be targeted. Now, we're also being told that the Chinese or Chinese hackers have hacked into AT&T, Verizon, and another telecommunications company. They're saying they feel it's only a matter of time before they hit a certain sector of our power grid and take it down. We're getting all this word about all these things getting hit, and it seems to all tie back to the CCP. And on top of it, now they're saying that someone, probably connected back to the Chinese here, have infiltrated our water systems, our sewage and water systems. The water systems that supply water to 14 million people, millions of people. This is crazy. Someone is getting into all sectors. Throughout the year, we've seen the hospitals get hit and hacked. And they say that our infrastructure is mostly controlled by the private sector, and that makes it ripe for ransom attacks, cyber attacks, and things of that nature. But with all the alerts and all the warnings going down, man, how do you let all this happen with the Chinese? It just feels like a setup, totally. So just know that once we engage in a full-scale war with China, they have the ability to remotely access all of those cranes, and I'm going to say shut them down or make them go bonkers and everything else. So it's quite a shocking announcement, because to me, at any moment they can cripple our ports. It's pretty big. And now they're tapping into the water supplies and everything else. Man, folks, I'd have a plan. I'd get off grid and away from their supplies, things that they can attack and take you down. But join me for the live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, where I talk about this and a whole lot.
Kofi, follow me.